Hop, skip, and a jump. Let's get it.
Ooh, I'm just a sexy boy. Sexy boy. I'm not your boy, too. Boy, toy.
You want the whole world to see that, huh?
No, listen to me. It's sometimes you gotta put on tunes to get you in the right state of mind. Especially since we got a few breaking announcements that since the boy toys seems to be a part of, but we'll get into all that and more. But let me see, what am I looking at? Oh, I know what I'm looking at. The red light is definitely on, and we are back for another action-packed episode of the Wrestling Wrealm Now podcast. And why is it so different this week? I'm glad you asked, Realness, because it is our Royal Rumble 2025 preview show. Now, yes, 2 weeks ago, we did have, thank you, Brian Ace. I appreciate the festive lights. We did have an impromptu conversation about who was going to win the men's Royal Rumble for a very specific reason. We're going to revisit that conversation, talk about all the surprises and things that we are expecting from the men's Rumble, the women's Rumble, and the title matches. So it's Wednesday. We're here. You're here. You know what time it is. Ladies and gentlemen, it's another week. Let's get it.
Houston, we have a problem.
Yes! What you gonna do? 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 What you gonna do?
That was a good one. Welcome to the Wrestling Wrealm Now podcast, where we take a deeper dive in the world of professional wrestling. Guess what time? Now. I am your host, the realness, Dwayne Allen, in the building. And he is your host, super producer, Brother Hugh, has a third A to the A to the S, T to the A to the E, B to the R to the D in the building. And he is your host, not just any guy, but the Belt King himself, Brandon the Guy in the building. And he is your host, the creator, the founder, and still in 2025, Mr. Steal Your Goddamn Show, Brian H. Waters in the building. You're not going to love that one down. Welcome to the Wrestling Wrealm Now podcast. Oh my gosh, thank you. I appreciate that. That's very special of you guys to give me a round of applause this week. Thank you.
TRGA, that's what happened.
Well, you know how that goes.
Why does he get an applause?
I don't know what that was about. I think everybody's just happy to be here. It's like a holiday for us wrestling fans. This is the Wednesday before the weekend of Royal Rumble and all that comes with that. So I guess they're happy that we are here to have the most intellectual discussions about all the fun things we are looking forward to and what we think should possibly happen as we continue on this long Triple H laid road to WrestleMania. More on him in a second. But with that being said, you know what time it is. By the time we get through all the fun stuff, you know we are here to discuss every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Brian H is excited, I can tell.
He is.
There's something that happened here on the Wrestling Wrealm channel, on the YouTube channel at youtube.com/Wrestling Wrealm. There's a playlist that has a very specific show to it. And this show is the show that embodies everything championship related. If you don't know what we're referring to, take a listen. heard the intro, so you know we are here to talk about championship culture. Well into season 3. Every Tuesday at 8 p.m. you can check on youtube.com/Wrestling Realm, playlist championship culture, and you can find everything championship culture related, created by Brandon the Guy, and produced by super producer himself, Brother Hugh Has the Third. Now, with that being said, there's a lot going on this week. We're headed to WrestleMania, and we're on the stop known as the Royal Rumble. But this week's episode of Championship Culture was very special, and I have a lot to say about it. But, of course, you have to wait, because I have to give the guys who run the show a chance to give you a tidbit, just a few things about what this week's episode was all about. Now, if you haven't figured out the hints, if you're watching, of course, if you're listening, you can't see what Brandon the Guy is doing. But if you're watching, I think you have a slight idea of what exactly this week's show was all about. So, brothers, take it from here. Championship culture. What was this week's episode all about?
Oh, buddy. Oh, man. This week, we went all the way back to the very first episode of Championship Culture. The very season 1, episode 1, entitled, Let's Get This One Out of the Way. And we talked about the story behind this belt. But you know how every belt has a story? There's more to this story. And I think it was time that we said, you know, underrated is such a used term. Like, we have the words like aura, legendary, prestigious, iconic. You know, all these words have been thrown around, but underrated is one of those words that can mean so many different reasons. You know what I mean? So when it comes to the Undisputed, and I mean the WWF/WWE Undisputed Championship, which the Big Eagle and the Big Gold were merged to make the Undisputed Championship, we posed the question: is this underrated?
Oh boy!
Is the title design
Go ahead, Hugh.
underrated?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're specifically
That's
talking
what
about. Is
focusing
the
on,
title
yes.
design underrated? When we talk about top designs ever to be produced, certain names come to mind, such as the Winged Eagle, Big Gold, 10 pounds of gold. So, I mean, now, why is this one, this title right here, why is this title never mentioned? That's the question we're asking.
I could
'Cause
tell
I
you
think
a
that's a
few.
beautiful title.
And here's the crazy part. If you haven't seen this show, I dare anybody to go over to Wrestling Realm now. I'm sorry, youtube.com/Wrestling Realm. Look at the playlist under Championship Culture, because Brother Hugh breaks down this belt design like none other. When I tell you, he was on his, I don't want to spoil it. Go watch the episode. Wait till you see how Brother Hugh breaks it down for you. I think some people have a new appreciation for the belt.
Is that true, Brother Hugh? Do you think people have a new appreciation for that championship?
I think so.
Based off your breakdown. Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna look at it a little bit differently. Yes.
Until we get the notes. Let's see what the notes have to say, because
Okay.
that's what we all tune in for.
Well,
I think people tune in after Championship Culture to see the notes.
Absolutely.
Well, championship belts are a very sensitive subject for me, and trust me, this episode was just as controversial for me as it's ever been. And guess what? If I'm not on the show, I try to disrupt in the comments and I can't get all my thoughts. Guess what I do? I take notes and I bring them to the Wrestling Realm Now podcast the next day. So guess what? In case you have been living under a rock after you heard the breakdown of what this episode of Championship Culture was all about, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Of course, I've got notes. Oh boy. Is the WWE Undisputed Championship underrated? Wow.
Underrated design.
Such a conflicting conversation for the realness. And you know what? Because I have notes, I didn't forget. This is for you, Brian H. Of course, I've got notes. I say, wait a goddamn minute. We got to have this conversation. I was trying to get it out in the comments as I was watching the show yesterday. I said, you know what? I'll just wait till tomorrow. We're talking about the undisputed WWE Championship, and is this championship design underrated? I'm conflicted. In one space, I was not a fan of this championship. And then eventually, in another space, I was looking for this championship to come back as soon as possible. And then in another space, I got over it. But I'm going to explain to you why, and I'm gonna do my best to just inject the realness, slap some realness on it. Slap some realness on the episode of Championship Culture. So let's talk about, is this championship design underrated? The undisputed WWE Championship. Let's go back. I did not like this championship until it was long gone. By the time I became a fan of it, it was long gone. The spinner was kind of running wild, and it was doing whatever is business. And then we moved on to the what do we call this? The Scratch Network logo. What do we call that championship? The one that The Rock debuted.
The logo belts.
Okay, see that one. See that.
The one that The Rock debuted is 2014.
Right. So
then we have the network logo.
See, that's another footnote of history. But we're going to talk about this footnote. 13.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's 13.
Okay. So what's underrated about this championship? In what way? And is it design we're talking about? And these are the questions that I ask myself. And I begin to say, okay, I never liked this championship because it debuted way too small. I was looking forward to seeing what was next. I'm a belt guy. I always have been. And I said, okay, we carry the big eagle, we're carrying the big gold, and they both been carrying it. But then when they made the announcement that they were going to bring a new championship, I was excited. I said, let's see what they come. So when they debuted this belt and it was small, and I said, wait a minute, it was too traditional to me. I said, it's way too floral looking, like this isn't even fun. I was like, what is this belt? It reminded me of the old classic belts that I've seen in the history books of professional wrestling. The belt to me is supposed to get bigger, not smaller. My personal preference. So I didn't like it at first. And then it got caught up in that awkward time between the World Wrestling Federation transitioning to World Wrestling Entertainment. That also rubbed me the wrong way. Like they literally scratched the F off the goddamn belt. And I remember it specifically because it was around the same time Tough Enough was on TV. I'm not going to get into that. We'll talk about Tough Enough later. They got another show coming up.
They got the F out.
There you go.
Got the F out.
I hated that campaign. I was pissed. I was not happy, but this is what I'm trying to say. I didn't start liking this championship belt until Brock Lesnar held it. At that time, I was not watching wrestling regularly. I knew what was going on because my brother watched. I told Brian this story 1,000 times. My brother always watched wrestling. I would just pop my head in the living room and look at him like, this is dumb, but sit there for another 20 minutes. And then when I got tired of it, I walked out. But I said, what is it about this championship that I feel like is not necessarily overrated, but just why it's a footnote in history and why it doesn't have such a strong lineage attached to it? And I said, let's think about this. This era is the era when the mainstream public walked away from professional wrestling. That's right. History lesson with the realness. Since the beginning of professional wrestling, there have been these moments where wrestling hits a boom, where everybody's a part of it. It's a part of pop culture. It's a part of society. It plays its place. And then there comes a moment where there's a huge falling away. It happened in the golden years of professional wrestling. When wrestling was legit Greco-Roman wrestling, they had coliseums filled to the rafters, right? Watching these real live wrestling matches. And then they realized, hey, this could be detrimental. And as time went on, they began to script these things. They said, let's put on more of a performance than try to tear each other apart, because we're out here and we're putting on these shows, because that's what it was. You got to compete with the circus. You got to compete with wrestling. Pro wrestling became officially entertainment. There was a huge audience that walked away. But guess what? The advent of radio and television, there was a wrestling boom, right? And then wrestling stopped being so edgy. People stopped smoking cigars. People stopped throwing tomatoes at the performers. And they realized that, hey, we got to go a little bit further into entertainment. And there was a great falling away. And then what happened? The golden years came up. In the late 70s, around the time Bruno Sammartino and the NWA were kind of going toe-to-toe in terms of popularity, there was a boom. Television picked up. And now it was a great mass. A lot of people started to gravitate towards wrestling again, the mainstream. And then guess what? When that began to change, there was a great falling away. Bruno got older. Larry Zbyszko couldn't cuss the mustard, and things in the NWA were going up and they were coming down. Ric Flair was just getting started, but it hadn't hit that certain place, right? And then what happened? Vince McMahon decided to monopolize professional wrestling on the Northeast coast, I guess you could say, or the Atlantic coast, whatever you want to call it. And guess what? Everybody, pop culture, the rock and wrestling era started again. Kids were being appealed to. And guess what? Wrestling was once again in popular culture. And then what happened in the 90s? There was a steroid scandal. Hogan decided to retire. He wants to go film freaking Thunder in Paradise. All of wrestlers from the 80s, they began to age, to get older, and they decided to go with the new generation. So guess what? Wrestling was no longer mass publicly popular again. There was a great falling away. And then we get to the late 90s, and what happens? The Attitude Era erupts onto the scene. And guess what? Wrestling goes right back mainstream again. It was this huge boom. Everybody watched wrestling. Whether you were a wrestling fan or not, that's what you went to on 9 o'clock on Monday nights, 8 o'clock on Monday nights. That's where everybody went, whether you were a wrestling fan or not. That was your entertainment. And what happened? Things went, things grew. And that brings us to this era, this championship belt. This was around the time where people said, okay, WCW's gone. The people that we loved in WCW, they're not the same anymore. Half of these guys are on their way out the door to TNA. This is where we were with the WWE. This was around that time when people, the mainstream, walked away from professional wrestling. And this championship got caught up in that mass exit. So you think about that lineage, like who were the greatest champions of this time? Only wrestling fans can tell you who carried this championship belt. You ask somebody from the Golden Era, Hogan's era, who had this belt during this time, they can tell you. You can even ask old timers from the 70s when Bruno Sammartino had his run. Who had that championship? In the Attitude Era, you can ask people who don't watch wrestling now, who had that championship? You can't ask anybody from the mainstream during this time period where this belt made its debut, where this belt had its most runs. Who do you remember carrying this championship the most? So you say, okay, well, why is it? What is it about this championship? It's a beautiful belt, don't get me wrong, but why does this belt have no history to it? It's because, like I said on the show of Championship Culture last night, Brian H, you're gonna get a kick out of this one. This championship belt, because Brian H loved this era too. This championship belt is because you like Eddie Guerrero and all those other guys and Kurt Angle. You're a SmackDown guy. Don't act like you weren't. Yeah, broadcast television guy. Yeah, we know the stories about the cable. We know the cable television story, Brian H. He was getting his broadcast wrestling finally. But let me tell you what this belt represents. This championship belt is the symbol for the end of the Attitude Era. That's what this championship represents. So you're talking about this championship is the symbol for the end of wrestling being mainstream. And you say, okay, well, how did WWE become mainstream again? Now, granted,
mainstream exit belt.
See, WWE didn't necessarily, I'm not saying boasted itself back into the mainstream, but there was a certain thing that was going on in pop culture during that time, specifically in hip hop. It was spinning rims everywhere. It was spinning chains. And guess what? A rapper / professional wrestler took off in WWE and decided to have the new WWE championship to spin like everything else in pop culture. And what happened? The rest was history.
Shout out to Stephanie McMahon.
The spinner belt became so popular that nobody even craved for what came before that. It's because if you talk about the greatest belts of all time, there's a generation of children, and one of them lives in Brian H's house that is obsessed with this era. And this championship belt represents everything connected to it. Think about the lineage, think about the history, you think about CM Punk. So much is attached to that championship. So you wonder why there's no real lineage attached to that one, because guess what? That belt had no significant history attached to it. None. You tell me something special that happened with that championship belt that everybody remembers, not fans. We remember everything. That somebody's gonna remember. Who's got something?
I would say this just to add on to that. When you really think about the ones who wore it, they all wore better belts later. The good champions. Sorry to the Eddie Guerreros and the JBLs, but we revere Eddie Guerrero. I always said this, like Eddie Guerrero was great, don't get me wrong, but we put him more on a pedestal because he's no longer with us. But when you think about his main event run wasn't long at all. No. Batista, but we associate Batista more with the World Heavyweight Championship or the Spinner Championship for an extended period of time, right? JBL, small main event run. He had it the longest, I believe. Or probably longest reign with it, but afterwards, nobody goes back and say, "Oh, JBL was one of the greatest main eventers." We say it was the best heel of that time. but
Absolutely.
you can pick out so many other heels in the course of the history of wrestling. So when you really think about it, even a guy like Kurt Angle, who I think, I probably would say was probably the best holder of the championship.
No Brock Lesnar?
I was about to say.
See, I'm going to associate Brock more with the logo belt because Brock's
Their
better.
second run.
Yeah, his second was better. Like,
sure.
But Kurt Angle, even though he had better matches and stuff, we can always, he's still one of us in the Attitude Era because he's had that championship twice. So, associate him with that. Not to mention he's had like more higher profile matches. That's the belt he wore when he was put on the map.
And to all those facts, the strongest lineage that the undisputed WWE Championship is connected to is the moment that John Cena turned that thing into a spinning rim and wrapped it around his waist. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my notes. And there you have it. And if you want to figure out what else happened on that episode of Championship Culture, go back and watch youtube.com/Wrestling Wrealm playlist Championship Culture. It's on season 3. Go back,
Shawn Michaels.
And go back and watch that show. And you tell me your opinion. You tell me what you think about design. You tell me where you were when you first saw this championship and what it means to you. So for all those that are not familiar with what we do here, that is oops, I forgot my thingy. So Championship Culture, season 3. If you have not seen that episode, go back and watch the previous episodes. Watch everything, catch up. I'm looking forward to next week as this week. That was a good show. It was definitely thought-provoking. Now, as you know, we debuted some new things. We had some new segments here on the Wrestling Realm. And it is time. Now, last week was a little rough. Now, we have alternating segments now. It is we introduced 2 new segments.
Said it was a little rough?
It was good.
It was a little rough?
You're welcome. You're very welcome.
We introduced Wrestling Realm Facts 2 weeks ago. And last week we debuted Unpopular Opinion. So now we're back around to something much more civilized than Wrestling Realm Facts. Now next week it's probably going to be
the world finally got to see Brother Hugh for who he is, and they saw him as this nice guy who likes Dolph Ziggler, who likes Kane, who believes in Joe Hendry. But now you got to see the guy who didn't like the Ravens quarterback that took us to the Super Bowl at the time. He was still hating. We at the bar that night. Just celebrating, just basking in the gloriness of being world champions, and he was still yelling, the quarterback still sucked. He's the same guy who didn't like the Orioles ace, got us back over 15 wins, got us to the playoffs, and he still didn't like him. And now he got the hate on y'all favorite wrestler, the guy who has a special connection with the black fans, who was singing the songs, who got the same taste in R&B music that Brother Hugh does.
That's nice. That's nice.
He threw me off when he said 08, 09. I would have been okay with 2001, 2002.
No, I was okay if he just said in general, but he said a specific year. I said
he chose his most popular, but
he said nope.
That set the tone for the entire show. This is going to be much more civilized. We have a happy show today. We're going to talk about the Royal Rumble and all the fun stuff that happens with it. So we're back to just let's learn about the Wrestling Realm. So this is a segment called Wrestling Realm Facts, where it's good for you all to get to know the host of the show. You need to know the facts about how we see things, some of our favorites, things we like, so you can have a better idea of the people that you're listening to and the people that you're watching it. So this is why we came up with Wrestling Realm Facts. And this Wrestling Realm Facts question this week was, if you could choose one t-shirt to represent you as a wrestling fan, what t-shirt would that be? And you say, okay, runners, what's the deal? Why are we talking about wrestling t-shirts? Well, I think it's appropriate because as of lately, Kevin Owens has been inspired clearly by wrestling t-shirts. You can't be a wrestling fan and not be associated with wrestling t-shirts. And clearly he has some some parody shirts that Cody Rhodes' father may or may not have been a part of. I'm not going to say whether it is. I'm not going to say whether it isn't. That's for Kevin Owens and his whole copyright situation. But I figured, okay, if we got to talk about wrestling t-shirts, and it's like, what's the one t-shirt that you could wear that if people saw that, they would know exactly what type of wrestling fan that you are. They would know exactly where you stand. They look at your wrestling t-shirt, like, for instance, my nephew, Jonathan. I expect him to have a John Cena shirt or anything from that Ruthless Aggression era. And I know for a fact what type of fan it is. This kid was born at a certain time. he watched wrestling at a certain period of time. I know what era he's from. He's probably like a Batista collage shirt or something. Who knows? Because he's obsessed with that era. But in this situation, we're asking a question: what T-shirt best represents you as a wrestling fan? If you could wear a T-shirt, what people know about you? So that was the question we proposed this week, and guess what? We're going to answer it. So who would like to go first to discuss their wrestling T-shirt? If you could wear one wrestling T-shirt to represent you as a wrestling fan, what T-shirt would it be? Nobody
You're
wants.
not going to jump out there again?
Nobody
You
wants
don't
to.
want to go first and ruin it? You don't want to ruin it for everybody?
No, I'm being nice today. I'm being good.
See, this is a happy show. We're gonna go with you, Brian H.
Okay.
Brian H.
Mhm.
If you could wear one T-shirt, what T-shirt would that be? Tell the people what T-shirt you chose and why this T-shirt represents you as a wrestling fan.
So for me, it's going to be logos, right? So it's going to be a style T-shirt, and so yeah, it's going to be an old school logo, or any of the pay-per-views, right? So like the classic, and it has to be very specific. It has to be the new generation. I would say golden era, new generation, because I'll even do the big block logo with the gold with the like the skies logo. I have the chalk line jacket. It's one of my favorites. But that's what represents me when I think back. Like people will know, they see me. Oh, yeah, he old school, because that's usually the vibe I get. Oh man, that's back when I used to watch. If they see that old school WrestleMania logo, if they see that old school Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, or Survivor Series logo, they know like, oh, he's the wrestler fan for life. He's been there. He. And the biggest term, and I'll close it out with this. The biggest phrase I always get is back when it was WWF.
The good old days. The good old days. So there you have it, fans. If you want to know who Brian H is based off of wrestling T-shirt, you most like, and he's telling the truth. I know this for a fact because since I've known him, it was always wrestling T-shirts, and everything he said is 100% true. He's not exaggerating. So yes. So there you go. That's a wrestling room fact. So Brian H in his new generation era, late, what do you call it? Was it the golden era? Late golden era.
So we're talking like between 90. A lot of those logos was the same, right? 91 through 95. 94, 95. They was
90,
the same.
yeah.
That's when,
that's when it started to change for real.
Oh, that beautiful purple Royal Rumble skirt. Like if I could get that and just like hang it like a piece of it, a piece of that fabric. It's the best one. It's always gonna be the best.
You just want a piece of it, not the whole thing.
See, there he goes.
I don't want the whole ring.
My bad.
I don't want all four pieces, Hugh.
I'm good.
I'm sure you can find it. They sell things like that now in memorabilia shops. Brother guy, if you could choose a wrestling T-shirt to represent you as a wrestling fan, and shout out to you guys. You guys have wonderful wrestling T-shirts. I didn't get the memo today, so that's on me. But
That's what you said.
No, I didn't say you guys had to wear them. That was just for the facts. Like,
what we need is we need Kevin Owens to wear your shirt.
That would be cool. I'm okay with that.
Exactly what
but he's at that take respect defy adversity stage of this storyline.
Well, I'm not sure what adversity he has to face, but okay. I mean,
the fact that he's always right and nobody's listening, that he's the baby face, and the ding dong Cody Rhodes is the one that's the heel. That's why he sucks eggs.
Well, Kevin, give me a call, buddy. You got my number. So yeah, you're right. When you put it that way, Brian H. Okay, you guys got a point. Kevin always needs to wear it. I need to get him a TRDA shirt. Brother guy,
I know you got a PO box you can send it to.
Do you have one?
Oh,
a PO box?
I don't have a PO box, but I'm pretty sure he has one that he can. Or we can just like Sammy to send it to you.
Yeah, he'll text me. I'll text him. I'm sure he'll text me back. We're old friends. What about you, brother guy? If you had a T-shirt to represent you, and so when wrestling fans say, "Who's brother guy's a wrestling fan?" and they see you out in the street and they see that T-shirt, they say, "I know exactly the type of wrestling fan he is." What T-shirt would it be?
So mine has a lot of sentimental value to it because when growing up, my grandmother is the one that got me into wrestling and kept me into wrestling. But my aunt took me to a lot of the shows because this is going to date myself. Back in the 90Q days when you used to call in and try to win tickets, I always won tickets, but she had to be the one to claim them.
Old as hell.
She had to claim them, and she loved The Rock. And when I tell you she loved The Rock, so a lot of things I kind of, was impressed upon. But when we would go to the shows, she used to have this shirt that said, "Just bring it." And then when she saw that I bring it, it kind of was like, explain that to me. I had to have her explain it to me. And then she was like, whenever you show off for something, just be ready. And it says it already. Like, you're bringing the heat, you're bringing the entertainment, you're bringing whatever. She was like, and that's what The Rock does. And, wanted everybody to believe in that. Now, every time I saw it, it takes me back to those conversations. But it also is a conversation starter because I love wrestling T-shirts that don't say wrestling, but makes you say, wait a minute. Or somebody say, I know that. Okay, yep. Because, it was subtle hints about it being a Rock because everybody knew his catchphrase, just bring it. But this was during the era when he was, I don't want to say printing money, but
he was getting his mojo back.
Yeah, yes. So I kind of keep that as a nod to her. That's why it was hard for me to choose. But I was like, you know what? I remember her to just bring it, but I bring it. She really loved that shirt. So that's why I would wear that shirt. And plus, it has a cool catchphrase on it.
Okay. We're storytellers around here. And that's an excellent story. So it makes a lot of sense. Like I said, just the explanation of one, the reason why you like the shirt, the connection you have to things that are connected to the shirt. There's a depth to it. And this is exactly why I did this, because that's something people wouldn't have known. But guess what? They know now, including myself. So that makes a lot of sense. Like, okay, cool. We're all on the same wavelength.
Real quick before you jump on, I like what the prototype is saying, the CM Punk best in the world. I think that's a shirt that you know exactly what type of wrestler fan you're dealing with.
So
you had that shirt. You had that shirt, right, Brandon?
I mean, it is Brandon's favorite wrestler. I'm assuming he has that shirt.
Funny story. Shout out to the creator of my theme music for Break It Down with Brian H. Money Mike.
Mike.
I remember, if y'all remember that night, he bought that shirt when we went to TLC, and I remember him asking me, like, "Can I buy this?" Like, it's your own money, and it's like one of amongst the last few conversations I had with my uncle about my cousin. Like, I said, "Yeah," he asked me, "Could he buy it with his own money?" He said, "But you're the adult, so that's the reason. He know what he's supposed to do, And I remember specifically because I think we was talking about it. No, you know what it was when we was talking about his CM Punk's AEW run. And he was talking about how much he wasn't a Punk fan no more. And I was like, yeah, but I remember you had to have a shirt that night.
And that was a huge shirt to get. Like that shirt represents an era. Like you're absolutely right though. That CM Punk. This is great. I'm glad that shout out to Justin and Prototype 619 for putting that in it, because those are the stories that it's like, yo, this is what wrestling fans need to have conversations about. That's really, really good. But I wonder
real quick. I wonder. Mike Dunn has been very heavy about this AJ Lee conversation. I wonder what's Mike Lee's favorite AJ Lee shirt.
Yeah,
I don't want Mike to feel ignored. I don't want Mike to feel ignored. So I'm like, what? While we on the t-shirts, I'm wondering what's his favorite AJ Lee shirt.
That's a good question. Put it in the chat. Look at Brother Rhodes. He stepped in too. What's up, buddy?
What Brother Raj's favorite wrestling shirt is?
Brother Raj, what's your favorite t-shirt? If you had a t-shirt that represented you, I'm scared to ask him this question because who knows?
I know.
So if you had a t-shirt that represents you, what would it be? So everybody put it in the chat. There's one t-shirt. When people see that, they say, okay, I know you based off your t-shirt. Brother Hugh, go ahead.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, I'm kind of going off script a little bit.
That's
y'all gonna hate me for it, but I'm gonna take you back to a time. I'm gonna take you back to a time where I was just a young pup. Me and brother Hollywood back in the day.
Hold on. Back in the day, you said Brother Hollywood.
Brother Hollywood, yes, sir. That was young Hollywood. Yes. We were young pups. We was in school and whatnot, and there's a lot of gumps out there that used to talk trash, talk a lot of foolishness about us, right?
Hold on. I'm getting fired up. Sorry.
Because we were wrestling fans, right? And we stood behind wrestling 100%. We got it all. Oh, it's fake. Why do you like this? Y'all some dweebs. Y'all this, that, whatever. Look, we stay 100% loyal to wrestling, and we're still into wrestling right now. And all four of us, we've all been professionally. We've all made a contribution to the wrestling industry. All four of us, individually, right?
Yep.
So to all those gumps out there that's been hating, I would like to say to y'all, you cannot stop me. At the end of the day, we are even stronger because of your foolishness, all your hate. We're even stronger. So I'm going with I'm going with John Cena. You can't stop me, even stronger shirt.
Hey.
And it
That's
now, if you want me to get, I'm gonna get personal real quick.
go
Mhm.
I'm gonna
ahead.
get real
Let it rip.
personal.
This is
All
why
right.
we're doing it. People need to know who they dealing with.
People that know me, people that really know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
My whole life, I've been going through something. I've been going through. I'm gonna just throw it out there. I had a liver disease, and I've been going through a hard time my whole life, just basically mentally and whatnot, just trying to cope with going through that process of, honestly, I'm dying every day. Long story short, looking at this message each and every day, it reminded me to get into my zone, stay locked in, and just keep fighting. I'm on my make a wish stuff right now. Okay. But
It's fitting.
it took me back to that. It took me back and put me into that place and was like, look, it's time to put in work. No matter what, you can't get down on yourself. You gotta keep your faith in God, keep your faith in the people that's around you, that's supporting you, and just keep pushing. Long story short, that's the reason I don't remember too much from WrestleMania 39, because literally night one of WrestleMania 39, I went to the hospital.
Yeah.
I got a liver
Remember that.
transplant, woke up night two, and literally I asked for my phone right away. It was like, look, I need to find out what's going on in WrestleMania.
That's what I'm talking
So
about.
yeah, exactly. So I mean, like, look, wrestling has always been there for me, and this message, it fits me 100%. And this is one of the mantras that I stick to, and I live by daily. No matter what I do, I'm always telling myself, like, look, I'm cocky. I don't care. You can't stop me. You
That's
cannot
right.
stop me. Whatever.
Talk your
So
talk.
it is what it is.
God
That's
dang
what I'm
it.
coming with.
You guys are absolutely killing these new segments. Oh my gosh. Shout out to you brothers. This is exactly what I imagined when I introduced this whole situation. That's dope. See that? We getting vulnerable. We keeping it real. Brother Hugh,
Yeah.
I was ready.
Yeah.
I'm about to cash app you a couple dollars because you don't have a collection plate. But you starting to rip. I was like, he ready to go in. Get him. Now, I also applaud you guys and you, Brother Brandon. His Brother Brandon got a little bit emotional, man. He's talking about some serious stuff there. I told him, take his time. Hey, listen. Now, I just want to apologize because I'm about to come with a whole lot of negativity. It's my turn this week, so you guys are saying all this good stuff. I'm sorry. I just want to say that's why I gave you guys the applause, because now I'm just like, okay, my reasons are not good. It's just like, okay, all right, well, so let me just get to it.
Did you say your reasons are not good?
They're really not. There's nothing. There's nothing positive about to come out of my mouth right now. So you guys said all these positive things. Brian Nace talked about his history as a wrestling fan. Brother, you talked about the connection between your aunt and The Rock and just the message. Brother Hugh just went in about what that
got people cutting onions everywhere.
Listen, man, that's what it's about. These are wrestling realm facts. They need to know the people. They said people buy a piece of you. You want people to know how deep this really is. And then here, sorry, but then here's my this is my wrestling realm answer to my wrestling realm fact this week. So if you could have a T-shirt to represent you as a wrestling fan, like here's mine. I'm sorry. Let me just explain myself for a moment.
I already know where this is going. I already know.
I feel terrible because like everybody said positive stuff. See, last week it got real negative. This week is real positive, and I'm just on the opposite end. Like my unpopular opinion was weak compared to everybody else's, and now everybody said all this positivity. And here you see me screaming with a Proud Wrestling Fan t-shirt next to this DX shirt too, where it's
Yes, but the fact is, I wouldn't expect anything less, but that be your shirt.
I'm just saying though. Let me just.
I guessed it. I feel like I guessed that one. Like
okay,
if I was guessing,
but I put the green.
Brother Brandon cheated, but I guess I guess yours on point. Hughes, I thought it was gonna be the other Dolph Ziggler shirt.
The pink
one. Definitely thought he was going zigzag.
Show off. Yeah, I thought
that's
it was
the first.
show off.
That's the first one I thought of. But then I saw this in the closet. I was like, yeah, all right. I got
you wanted to tell real life stories. You wanted to break kayfabe, and you wanted to take us behind the fourth and the fifth wall.
You guys are killing these segments, by the way.
That's the purpose of the segment, right? They got to get to
It
know
really
me.
is though.
Mhm.
So
When I knew you posted when you chose that John Cena shirt, I was like, oh yeah, brother, he might go in. But that was just a whole different level. So let me try to explain myself so we can move on and talk about the Royal Rumble. So the DX shirt to me represents like my entire attitude as a wrestling fan, is because this is the era when I kind of came into myself as a wrestling fan. Like, everybody comes into who they are at certain ages, and this was that adolescent age for me. And like, when you think about what DX represented, especially during that time for me as a kid, I was very rebellious. Not like rebellious, like stealing cars, but like just rebellious in my mind. You know what I mean? Just being childish, being immature, not caring. Now, see, it fit me because I was actually a child. Like, so when you see Triple H, you see Shawn Michaels and stuff, and the Outlaws and X-Pac and China acting, I'm like, they act just like me, except I was actually a kid. So to see that immaturity, it was like, that's what I'm talking about. Look, they're grown and they still don't care. I'm kind of that way to this day. Like, it doesn't matter how old I get. I'm still relatively like, bro, I'm not finna change who I am because I'm older now. It's like, no, I'm still me. I do things, and the back of the shirt is just kind of my rebellious attitude towards a lot of things. So it also represents like Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels was a part of DX, so like I couldn't pick two shirts. So I said, okay, if I gotta choose one shirt that DX kind of embodies the Attitude Era, it embodies where I was at that time as a kid. It embodies my love for Shawn Michaels, and just everything that kind of wrapped up in that, like that era. Now, mind you, there's a reason why my mother never got me this shirt. Clearly, because the back of it says 2 words, "Suck it." And I have like we have a Wrestling Rum shirt that looks like this, that comes close to it with no bad words on the back, so it's okay. So if you see me as a wrestling fan, you probably won't see me in this shirt, but this is kind of what represents me and my attitude to this day. So I apologize. That was
one time. You gotta do it one time, just for WrestleMania.
all the memories.
okay. We'll figure it out if they still sell it, because they don't make the shirts the same way anymore.
Yeah.
They're like, it's all small in the back. It's not big like you. I said, don't do that. Like, don't like they make little shirts with the little WWE at the like. Don't put that WWE logo by the NWO stuff right there. That's just stupid.
Also, tweet at us, because right now we got a couple people that's tweeting. Juicy Steen tweeted a Super Brawl 4 shirt with Flair and Vader. So I think
that's a good one.
Yeah. So Justin Rich tweeted the Latino Heat, Addicted to the Heat, but he also tweeted the Dudley Boys Death Drop shirt. So yeah, definitely.
Which one was that? Wait a minute, WWE or TNA? Which one was the? They were Team 3D and TNA.
No,
right?
this is Dudley 3D. So it's Dudley 3D Death Drop.
Yeah, it was the Dudley's shirt, like their first Dudley Death Drop shirt before the TNA version. But I will say this though, team. Okay, no, I'm not gonna. I'll say that for unpopular opinion anyway. But yes, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Those are the facts. So this is the Wrestling Room Facts segment. Like I said, you guys are absolutely crushing this segment. So hopefully you have a better idea of who we are as wrestling fans, who we are as far as our journeys is, and all these great things that make us who we are and why we do what we do today. And just so you have a little bit of history of, what kind of shaped us individually in our personal lives, as well as why we still kind of stand on business as wrestling fans today. Anybody have any honorable mentions as far as t-shirts concerned that say, hey, you know what?
Type took one of mine right there, because that's definitely one. All of the I was there WrestleMania shirts now, and true fashion.
You know them bad boys. Yep.
Yeah, that's like a souvenir. You gotta have it.
This is the kind of the one that would rock for the Royal Rumble of 2023. But yeah, I always try to. I missed the Orlando WrestleMania, and then I missed the official one for Hollywood and Philly. But I always get at least a shirt or something from that city or that particular WrestleMania. Now Cleveland, I wasn't doing it. They were all Browns colors. I wasn't catching. Yeah, nah. But yeah, that's another one. I was
come on, man.
Nah, but definitely honorable mention would be the NWO for obvious reasons.
That's a good one.
And I never had a Wolfpack shirt, but I would definitely get one of those too. But I would definitely say that the Rock shirt when he came back was one of my favorites. I wore one of them during that WrestleMania week. The Just Bring It shirts. And then the Miz, you know, which one was
I'm awesome.
It was, I think it was that one, not the Hello, I'm Awesome. It was another one that I had, and I can't recall it because it's too small and it was too big.
You
But,
didn't have the Hello, I'm Awesome shirt?
No, I didn't have that particular one. You remember you and that security dude used to always talk about his shirts? Back in Morgan.
Yep.
And that was the thing, like Brother Brandon said, the shirts that didn't scream wrestling fan. And that was the best part because the Mrs. shirts you could walk in and look at, you know. I think it was like I'm awesome and you're not, or something like that.
Okay, that's actually
but yeah, Miz t-shirts the ones. I was just gonna say, Miz t-shirts, and then of course the greatest wrestler of all time, the Tribal Chief. Oh, Haters Love Me. That's the one it was. Haters Love Me.
Oh, okay, yeah,
That's a lot of honorable mentions.
Yeah.
That was a lot. That was a lot of honorable mentions.
The Miz shirt, Hello, I'm Awesome one. I remember like flipping my wig when I saw it. I said, bro, that's genius. It's a freaking name tag and it says that. That's definitely one of my honorable mentions. Obviously I took up, of course, NWO, that's the easy one, but the Bullet Club t-shirt is that was about to be. That was there's only one other shirt that I would have put over that Bullet Club t-shirt, and that is literally that DX shirt that was the beginning, and like the Bullet Club was like, especially during that era. You guys remember? I was gonna say,
if we did this show in 2017 and 18.
Yep, I was about to say that right there. Yep, absolutely. I have a picture of me like MJ Styles vest with that shirt on.
Yeah, I took it.
Oh, you did take that. Okay, there you go. We was at the station.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I didn't name any names. I just said the station. So yeah,
I remember that because that was probably one of the first photos I had taken of you before we did the TRDA shoot. Because you was never one to jump in front of the cameras. So I was like, oh snap! I got the realness. I got to make sure these are right.
Yeah, we was. That was. I don't say I just got the Bullet Club, but it's the first time I wore it. I even photoshopped an IWGP World Championship around my waist later on. I wish I had that photo. I didn't realize this conversation was gonna go as deep as it was. But those are the two ones I was like, there's two that represent me the most. Is the Hello, I'm Awesome t-shirt with the sticker, and of course that Bullet Club t-shirt.
Facts.
But what about anybody else? Brother guy? Look at like crack 15. See, he definitely did, bro.
Hot Topic. Because remember, I had the stickers.
That joint, they definitely did. That was a crossover t-shirt. But you guys got any other honorable mentions of just wrestling t-shirts that kind of represent you?
Stone Cold Steve Austin shirt that just said "what," because I feel like 99% of the time my face just says "what."
That definitely describes you, especially with the skull, like this, the skull at the bottom of it.
Like,
come on, that's Brandon. Tell them the number one shirt, man. You know what the number one shirt is.
Would you please?
Thank you. That's the shirt.
That's really
else. I have that.
That's really the shirt.
That. I can go get it. But the other honorable mention is, and I put it in that group chat. Remember when TNA released all those shirts with like those different designs on it?
The freaking Affliction t-shirts. They look like
you couldn't tell that they were wrestler shirts, but you're like, what is this shirt?
The Ed Hardy style TNA t-shirt era. Yes, that's definitely you.
Because all of them were definitely different, but they're like, you had to look closely, like, is that a wrestler shirt? Oh, that is a wrestler shirt. So, yeah, I'm going to actually grab that shirt. But, can you save that one?
I was this close to buying one.
I don't see one there.
You should have got
it. Is that when y'all went to the baseball? Yeah.
I actually had a Barry shirt, but I almost bought a Hogan shirt, but I couldn't pull myself. Him and Stings. And I'm like, these are supposed to be like my guys at that time, but I just didn't like those designs. The Austin Aries shirt was the best one, and he was the world champion at the time. And before we knew,
nobody cared. Remember?
He this shirt for coming to the show. Yep,
there it is.
Jericho touched that shirt, y'all.
That thing smells like 1999. It's got 2001 written all over it.
Right.
Look at that.
Right.
That's somewhere in a vintage shop, and somebody's charging somebody $60 for it right now.
Look, it still got the WWF on it.
There you go. You got to hold on to that one. Don't let that one go to because
you see it still says. Oh, you didn't say WWF.com.
You have a legit vintage tee, like.
Oh yeah, you see it still, and I have the jersey too, by the way.
Okay, yeah. See this. You're about to. He's about to have a moment reliving Jericho's yesteryear.
Yeah, and
Oh,
like
yeah.
Queen PR said earlier, you got to get the iconic ones because WWE do release a lot of shop. WWE shop releases a lot of merch, but those iconic shirts, those are the ones that hold on.
Yeah.
Usually, and shout out to brother Corey because he always like gets that first wrestler shirt, and you know, a lot of times they'll remember that, like, oh, you got my first shirt, like when you go meet him or whatever. But
Yep.
sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes those are the ones that you know hit the most, like kind of like title reign. Sometimes it could be that first title reign. Sometimes it'll be the second or third one.
Yeah. Team 3D's first shirt in TNA was one of my favorites. And quick unpopular opinion, all AEW's best in the world t-shirt was better than WWE's. Anyway, those are the facts, ladies and gentlemen.
And you see
Just had to
nobody
put it out
disagree
there.
with you.
Nope.
see
Stand
nobody
on that
disagree.
hill.
I ain't got
Next
nothing to say
week-
about it.
Next week we'll have unpopular. Brother, did you have any honorable mentions? I know you were kind of okay. You good? Okay. I don't want to make sure
y'all
we.
said them already.
Oh,
Don't
y'all
say
gonna ignore this? Y'all gonna
What'd he
ignore
say?
this? Uh-huh.
Brandon. Okay, so there you go. You guys can have a t-shirt off.
This is a popular AJ Styles. I remember he kept just changing the colors.
Just watched him win the title. I mean, no, drop title with Cena.
No, you should have watched him win the title, not him drop it.
It was a
Not
great
what we want to
match.
see.
Oh, we ain't in that segment yet. My bad.
It's okay. We'll get there. We might as well jump right into it. So, like I said, those are the facts. Next week we will bring back unpopular opinion, and I'm nervous. So here we go. This is the time where we get into the beginning of the show. We've been here for almost an hour. Like I said, we shouldn't take too long because I think we're pretty straightforward with the conversation as far as our main event of the show. But you know, this is the time where we ask our co-hosts, Rocky Balboa and Apollo Creed, to help us start the show as we jump right into what did you watch. But first, we gotta ring the bell, gentlemen. Apollo Creed, Rocky Balboa, can you help us get this next segment started, gentlemen?
Want to ring the bell? Ding, ding.
Let's get this show on the road. Every week, we also do a segment called What Did You Watch, where we sit back and we watch things to get ourselves ready to have these conversations and be all engaged in professional wrestling. So, with that being said, what did you watch? Sponsored by SeatGeek. If you're looking to purchase tickets to concerts, live shows, sporting events, and more, head over to SeatGeek.com where you can use our promo code WrestlingRealm for any one-time purchase of $50 or more. That's promo code WrestlingRealm on any one-time purchase of $50 or more. Good brothers, what did you watch?
Mm-hmm.
This just in. There was some breaking news today. So as we get into what did you watch, as we discuss, you know, what do we get into this week as we prepare for the Royal Rumble, there was an announcement that was made and it came out kind of late, but I think because it broke early, they had to do something and address it. But it is official that Triple H is officially going into the Hall of Fame and will be the headliner of this year's 2025 Hall of Fame. First and foremost, where do we go? Congratulations to Triple H for all his accomplishments, everything he's done for us in as a wrestler, working behind the scenes, NXT, and everything that we have now. But we'd be remiss if we didn't take the time to discuss the importance and congratulations of Triple H going into the Hall of Fame. So, gentlemen, how do you guys feel about finally hearing this announcement that Triple H is actually going into the Hall of Fame this year and he will be the headliner?
This should be his 2 rings and done.
That's the nicest
No
thing
evolution.
you can say about Triple H in this moment. Like,
No
what are you
evolution.
talking about? We trying to congratulate the brother. This is shocking.
Yeah,
I'm
no
shocked.
evolution.
Bingo.
And you said
He,
it better just be 2 rings and that's it. Like you like this is almost like last week. You was back on your Yeah. What are we doing?
I mean, we definitely give Triple H all his props every week on this show. But to talk about
Why'd you do it like that though? Does it not
Right.
deserve it?
it's
every-
normal now. He's in
Feel like we're
charge
below the
now. Wrestling is Triple H now. We know. But when you think about him as the cerebral assassin as a wrestler, he had a very tough task being that number 3 guy. Like outside of Cody Rhodes having to follow Roman Reigns, he probably had the toughest role because he literally had to be one of the guys that carried the ball when Austin and Rock left. He was still there. You know what I mean? He was the guy who was kind of like reminiscent of like, kind of representing that era, and to be able to get to the main event and stay there. Because a lot of times people get to the main event and they drop back down, whatever. But getting there, stay there, we get to talk about the politics of it all. The bottom line is he was a great heel. It's not like business was doing bad. It's not like business wasn't like he wasn't like, drawing people or whatever. So I thought he did a great job. And then also during the ruthless aggression era and the reality era, whatever they call it afterwards, I think, he was a great sub-in, like at any given time, like when he was corporate, putting the title on him when they was trying to get the big dog over. You had to give him the title. He was the emergency main eventer for WrestleMania 32, if we being honest.
Yeah, he was.
And I think that a lot of times goes underrated, underappreciated for that role. Like, yeah, we probably got tired of authority or whatever, but it's always cool when you can kind of like mix it up. He can throw in the wrestling boots. He was able to have a match with Dean Ambrose at, I think it was the first Fastlane, and then really put Roman over at WrestleMania to give Roman his first big main event WWE Championship win, which would create the string of it was a part of his string of WrestleMania big wins. So but then, like I said, just how transcendent over the different eras he was. He's wrestled as old as Ric Flair, and you could say probably as young as like Roman and Seth, and and it sucks because if he didn't have the heart stuff going on, we would see him get in the ring again, and that's the only thing that's like, dang man, how cool would it have been to see Triple H versus Kevin Owens? You know what I mean? Because he's the standard, and he lived it. But to go from we make the rules and we'll break them to being the guy who's literally in charge of the rules, it's been great to see. And also, you just see like his love and passion for the business. So you see like, okay, this is what he always wanted to do. So shout out to him.
Absolutely. Brother Hugh, brother Guy, were you guys shocked to hear this? Or you guys just happy to see him finally getting his I guess do we consider it just due? Like Brian had said, he's kind of the focal point of everything now. So it's like, it's not like he's not celebrated, but you guys excited to see Triple H going in right now as a singles, a single entity, not a part of DX and the Click or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm happy that he's going in. It's just time. I mean, like we said, he's pretty much celebrated for everything else right now, and his career has been put to the back burner. It's great that they're taking the time out to recognize him as a performer and him just being one of the greatest of all time. Brian pretty much alluded to everything. Like he was great at what he did. He was a perfect fill-in when the top guys weren't there. He ushered us throughout the ruthless aggression era and the era after that. So it's like this guy is the guy. He's running things now, man. Like, so yeah, it's definitely time for him. Who else would you put as a highlight? You know what I mean? Like who else would you have there besides Batista? And you know how I feel about Batista.
Well, we all do know how you feel about Batista. But what about you, brother Guy? We happy to see Triple H going to the Hall of Fame now?
I'm glad it's happening this year because it couldn't have happened last year due to too many things going on. And it would have got missed in the shuffle. It was too much happening.
Probably
right.
Right.
So now this will be a good, I want to say, rebound year because we don't know the direction WrestleMania is going. They went on and got this out of the way. So that way we ain't got to speculate. WrestleMania 42, 43, 44. Is he going to go in? Go ahead and get it out of the way now because we all can agree it was deserved and it should have been a long time ago, but it wasn't the right time or space for it. And now that we know his wrestling days are over, but it's more than just being inside of the ring. So I'm excited for him. And you could tell he kind of was like caught off guard, like, because he even said, I'm going to throw Nick off the top of the building. I was like, oh, this is real. He really didn't know that they had been plotting it because he probably wanted to keep humble and not do it. You know what I mean? Because he's probably thinking like the old school guys, because who was it that said it? He wants to be in the Hall of Fame when everything is said and done. Like, it's nothing wrong with Ray. What happened with Ray, that he's a Hall of Famer that's still actively performing. But he feels like, I can't remember who said that once. Was it AJ? Okay.
He said when he turned down TNA's,
Yeah. He wanted to make sure and I get that logic. That makes sense. This is my career. Not I'm still making my career, and I'm already a Hall of Famer. So
Absolutely.
I'm happy that it's done. It's happening this year. I shouldn't say done, but it's happening this year.
Hold on, you just unlocked the memory.
Uh-oh.
Because he said AJ Styles and everything all said and done, right? And I got to bring this up because it's video game related, but AJ Styles related. Last year, I put in to ask AJ what his career would look like if they did a showcase mode with this TNA partnership. Y'all think we could get that on there now?
Yes.
Like his TNA career on a
on the game?
Yeah.
Ooh, that would be crazy.
We're gonna have a
you probably
TNA version
could.
of AJ because look at his he did. There was a lot of TNA footage in there. There was a lot
That
in
is
that
true.
story for him. There was a lot, and it's Mighty Strange. It came out right after. That's probably what they were waiting for. We got to figure out how that's why I wanted WWE to get ROH because they need that backlog.
That library.
They need that video library. They need that library.
No, that's actually a really good point. It's once again, shout out to freaking Triple H. The best part about him not being a boss is he doesn't call the shots. So if Endeavor, TKO Sports, they feel that this is a deserving moment to do, or maybe they just need somebody to sell some tickets. Why not put Triple H at the top of the card? You know what I mean? Like, come on, Triple H, draw one more time, buddy. But absolutely well deserved. I'm sure we'll get into this later down the line as we get closer to WrestleMania. We can, dig into that.
I do have one question.
Yeah, go ahead.
See, and I hate to take up time with this. Do we
No,
see?
fine.
You know how we get the superstars that are doing signings, autograph, VIP packages. Do we now get that for Triple H? I know that he's extremely busy, but because
He's probably
this year,
I don't know. That's a good question.
You know what I'm saying? Like a Fanatics Fest or a WrestleMania Access, do we get a Triple H signing? Because if you think about it, wouldn't do fans have access to him?
That's true.
I would assume so. He was there before, right?
Mhm.
But I mean, of course, he wasn't signing or whatnot, but he was there mingling with the crowd and whatnot.
Yeah,
Showing
last
face.
year he did the entrance, which was pretty cool. It's just he is like, oh my gosh, like so busy because of
It's
so
WrestleMania
hands-on.
season.
Yeah, he's
like,
so entwined. He's intertwined in so many different things.
Yeah.
And that's why
That's
I
a
wonder,
good
because
question.
now with that being attached to it, do we see, and that might be, like you said, to sell more stuff, because that means we're probably getting the Hall of Famer belt, the Hall of Fame, the game. We're going to get another belt. Don't you worry.
That's the one thing you focused on, aren't it? He knew, like, clearly we're going to get another strap. But no, that's actually a very good question, because if, like, say, like someone like me that's like, hey, I'd be interested in that. Like, if he's having some type of something, I'm like, well, shoot. Well, you know what I mean? That's, that perfect time, perfect place to capitalize on that opportunity. So we'll definitely stay tuned to that. To just more developments as this I know this came out kind of late. I think it leaked out and they probably said, look, we probably just need to make this announcement now. So, because I wasn't going to bring it up at first. I was like, well, I'm not doing anything until the announcement, but they announced it so late. I mean, they announced a freaking t-shirt before they officially announced him going into the Hall of Fame. But shout out to the graphic designers that got all this stuff done late. I mean, they got it done, fast enough and get us. So shout out to Triple H. Congratulations. We're gonna take a quick break and just go to listen to a few ads, and then when we come back, we're just gonna go jump right into Royal Rumble. We're gonna talk about some things. We're gonna talk about the men's Rumble. We're gonna talk about the women's Rumble. We're gonna talk about surprises. Who do we expect to show up? Are we looking for returns? Are we looking for crossover? Are we looking for storylines to be furthered? So on and so forth. We're gonna have some fun with this one, but we're gonna take a quick moment to hear a few things, and once we get back, we'll jump right into it. So here we go.
You can download all of our audio content anytime on Spotify.
Is it time for the tribal chief to add the Royal Rumble, a second Royal Rumble, to his resume? WWE Universe is much bigger than professional wrestling fans. Here's why: because the WWE Universe includes professional wrestling fans, but also include people who just care about the story or the WWE theatrics. You will find a AEW professional wrestler fan who knows about everybody that's a WWE superstar, but you will not find someone from the WWE universe that knows about every major professional wrestler. So you imagine how many kids would love Kenny Omega? You imagine how many people who just got into WWE again because of Netflix. Those people aren't tuning to AEW. I'm sorry. They're not.
You can watch all of our Wrestling Realm content anytime on youtube.com/The Wrestling Realm.
All
I ain't
right.
even make an ad for this week's show. I was.
No, it's cool. Trust me. You see how I did a little mix and match there? Say DJ Weezy, we on the ones and twos. All right, let's get to it, brothers. Are you ready to talk about this year's 2025 Royal Rumble? First, let's ask our co-host, LA Knight. Are you ready to talk about the Royal Rumble this year, LA Knight? Okay, so clearly there's a lot we have to get into. There's a few things that we got to dig into. We got the women's match, we got the men's match, we got 2 title matches. I don't know if the tag team match is necessarily is that supposed to be a pre-show match, but it has been advertised, so apparently it's going to be on the show.
You ain't lying. Fitz,
Okay,
how?
I'm not lying.
How?
So let's just jump right into it. Good brothers, we're finally here. This used to be the beginning to the road to WrestleMania, but things have changed for us in yesteryear. We're here now, and we're here to talk about the Royal Rumble. What are we doing? What's going on? How does this shape up? We got Elimination Chamber, we have WrestleMania. Let me say this first and foremost. I've been watching WWE, the live Royal Rumble stuff all day. You know, they show the 24-hour marathon of all the Royal Rumble matches and moments. And I'm going to say right now, good gosh, there's some absolutely horrible Royal Rumbles. I don't know how we survived some of the stuff that we've seen.
Right.
2010, 11, 12, 13.
Back down, man.
What's it, bro? I was like, wow, is this
Going back, you can't watch it. It's like, what happened?
Oh,
I see
okay.
why.
You was talking about the mid 2000s, right? That forgettable period.
No, I'm talking about like the late 2010s.
Yeah, the late. Okay.
Like we're talking 11, 12, 13, 14. I see why Daniel Bryan and them left with the AW and Moxley. Good gosh.
Whoa, those. Yeah.
14. The Authority.
Yeah.
They were bad, bro.
See, that's why we skip over. You know, like me watching Royal Rumble where AJ and Cena had their match. That's considered new. Like right now, I got Triple H versus Kurt Angle, Royal Rumble 2001. I just watched finished watching one of the greatest ladder matches of all time. Brother Brandon referred to it on a few weeks ago.
You ain't lying.
Yeah, so but you know, then there's like some of the classics, but yeah, Royal Rumble had its you know, because it always showed you like it kind of shows you how wrestling was, the health of wrestling.
Oof.
You know what I mean? Like remember when Kevin Nash came back? Like they had some of those moments, but then it's just like
the rest of it was just like, oh my, is this what we enjoyed? Like we was okay with this? And it's crazy because it's of course hindsight being 2020, but it's like now you look back and go, oof.
But here's the thing about the Rumble too, right? It's always fun like watching with somebody because it's like even if it's a bad time in wrestling, we don't know the Rumble's bad until it's over. It's not like a match where you like, yo, this match ain't really hitting. The Royal Rumble, you tied to your seat, but you on the edge of your seat the whole time because you don't know what's coming. You don't know who's coming out next. You don't know if there's going to be a surprise. You don't know if it's going to be a return. There's going to be a debut. So that's what makes it great.
Whew. Yeah. Well, listen, when you put it that way, yes, the concept is very fun and exciting, but it was some snoozers. I said, what in the world are we watching? Like, this is what we were okay with? And we did. And I feel embarrassed because we did shows on a lot of this stuff. So like,
but Triple H has given us wrestling Royal Rumble stories throughout the match.
We're going to discuss that because I saw something online and somebody proposed something and I need everybody's 2 cents on it. Is because I'm a little conflicted in a way. I know I kind of kicked off the show with a little bit of negativity this week. My fault. It was me this time.
You think?
A little bit. It's me and my rebellious attitude after everybody gave inspiration.
Don't hit us with it's not you, it's me.
No, it's pretty much. It's definitely it's not you guys. It's me. Trust me. So
It's on me, right?
I watched some of the old stuff of the Rumble, and Triple H we've all watched him do the Rumble differently. And I think that he's in a constant state of reinventing himself and not sticking to the status quo. And I think that was the issue with a lot of the Royal Rumbles. It was like, okay, give us the Rumble. We know who the winner is. Everybody had their spots. Kofi does his thing. And then it was like kind of like cut and paste. And then it was kind of like, we accepted it because it's what they gave us. But after a while, you look back on it and go, this is really boring, including the women's Rumbles that before Triple H took over. Like you look at a lot of the women that was in the Rumble versus where they are now. They have so much depth, and we know they have so much depth to who they are, their characters. We know exactly who each of these women are. But when you watch back then, they were just out there just posing. And I'm like, they don't even know who they are now. Like Candice LeRae looked like a completely different person. Like things like that. I'm just like, they didn't let them loose at all. Bianca Belair was just out there making faces. You know what I mean? She wasn't really herself. And I was like, is this what we were subject to during this time period? But things are different. And this is now. So this year's Royal Rumble, we have about, I believe it's 4 legitimate matches. Am I correct in assuming that? So it's the men's Rumble match, the women's Rumble match, tag team championship match, and of course the ladder match for the undisputed WWE Championship with Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes.
Match.
You said what?
They could have kept that tag team match.
There you go. You're part of the problem, Brian H. Why are you not supporting?
It's a 2 out of 3 falls though. It's a 2 out of 3.
Even worse.
A stipulation rate.
Ooh, wait a minute. You didn't say that. Okay. Well, we'll
4 mid guys in the ring at the same time.
Well, maybe they'll go crazy and start flipping in old school TNA stuff. I don't know. Like break.
This is going to build. Look, you got to pay attention what they're doing with tag teams. It's a reason that they put this on pay-per-view, and it's a reason that they have been flirting with TNA, the Hardys, Fraxium. I mean, think about it. Okay. It's a reason that it's on there. It's got to be in Triple H we trust.
You have just pulled a realness and you've disrupted the show. Because now I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued. I wasn't even thinking about that. But do you think this turns to an impromptu, like, hey, we're going to triple threat this up? Or I don't know. No, I'm going to wait.
I don't think it's an impromptu. Whoever wins the 2 out of 3 falls match will be confronted by the Hardys or Fraxium. Because it's the reason that they keep intertwining. And plus, think about it. The partnership is there. What better way to get the Rascals involved into something? What better way to get the Hardys back in the WWE without them being in the WWE? Because the Royal Rumble has been the only place that technically, somebody from another company came in recent years, right? With Mickey James being the Knockouts champion coming into the Rumble, Triple H is going to do something different because he has this tag division that he's rebuilding. As you can see, he's putting the focus on there. It's any other time this match would have been on SmackDown. This would have been on a go-home show for
the day before.
So it's a reason he's doing that. I guarantee you, one of these tag teams are going to be going to interrupt each other. And if I had to bet, it's going to be the Hardy Boys are going to show up, and it's going to be oh my God, the Hardys versus Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, or the Hardys versus DIY.
Don was not no Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin. It's going to be the Hardys versus DIY. The TNA champion is going to face off with the WWE champions.
That's what I'm saying. It's got to be a reason it's on the pay-per-view.
Nothing probably will happen because to be honest, they probably just threw this on there because everybody else will be in the daggone Rumble. They ain't gonna be in the Rumble.
No,
let's be honest.
So now, I just went up and now I just came back down because at first I was like, wait a minute. Because that sounds legit, brother guy. I'm like, wait a minute. Is this where we're going? But you have a point though, because I was like, what? No disrespect.
Why is this on there?
It did seem random. Like, why was we just like out of all championships? No, and I promise you, I love DIY. I love the Motor City Machine Guns. Now, you know what I mean? I was like, why? What do we? But maybe there's shenanigans involved.
I think it will be.
Oh man, they just wanted us to raise our fists, man. That's it.
I'm telling you, it's a reason that they were. I'm telling you, between the Rascals, the Hardy, and Fraxium, it's going to be something popping up. Something's going to happen.
I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not buying the Rascals and I'm not buying Fraxium. It's because this is one of the big 4 pay-per-views, right? But I'm definitely buying the Hardys because it's like, what reason? Now, the problem with that is Jeff Hardy has an issue. When he hears that crowd, he's not going to want to go back to TNA. Like all of a sudden, you're gonna see Jeff Hardy disinterested in TNA, not really giving his best anymore. And I'm like, because he already said it. I'm addicted to the big crowd. Like I love taking my time off. I love working part time. I love being able to, kind of tame my schedule so I can recover. Yeah, but he also said
Workday app. He can take time off. He can put in on his phone. He can put in his time off request. Yeah, come on back home.
I mean, they are taking better care of people.
No, stay away.
You don't get to speak on Jeff Hardy, sir.
Now I really hope he shows up. But okay, I didn't see that. I didn't see that. That's the only
reason I can think. This would have been on Smack. This is the perfect main event for SmackDown before the Raw.
Go home show. Yeah,
this is the perfect one. But I said it's got to be a reason they put it on there. I don't think it's got to be a reason that they put it there. And I think Triple H has something up his sleeve.
Good job, brother guy. Not letting Triple H get to you. We know he's a Hall of Famer now, but because I'm telling you, I was like, well, what are they going to do? They wrestle for 20 minutes to kind of get people going. And then, this is a match I would like to see it as a ladder match, but clearly we have one of those. But who do we see coming out of this match at the end of the day, walking out of this as the WWE Tag Team Champions?
Or
seems kind of obvious.
Yeah.
I think they get the straps back. I think they get it back.
So
more stake in the game for them to float back to TNA than it is for DIY right now.
Both Brother Hugh and Brian H are negative towards tag team wrestling.
No, just
you guys are negative.
No, just
I like Raw, and I like those belts. I'm just tired of all four individuals. I don't like them two teaming up. I need. Man,
okay, so help me understand something. So what tag teams do you want to see? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, it's either old guys, middle guys, or vet, or new faces. So I give you an example. Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin are old guys. Middle guys are like Tommaso Ciampa and Gargano. Like they're stuck in the middle right now. There's nothing they can do about it. You know what I mean? They're not new, they're not old, but it's like, look, this is where you are now. And then you got new guys like Fraxium, who I'm not really a big fan of. I'm like, 'cause they look like Osiri and Portal from back in the day. Just, and I'm like, I ain't really feeling it. So what would you prefer as far as tech? Because you and Brother Hugh just do not seem to be enthused about this whole situation.
I like the War Raiders. They fun.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, the Street Profits, they fun.
I mean, I support brothers.
The verdict's still
give me OTM with Jada Parker.
So there you go.
You don't even rock with them no more. OTM
aren't they with the Rascals now? Who's with the Rascals?
No, there's some other guys.
Oh
no,
okay.
He's just with Wesley.
He's
got two guys. They just showed up on TNA and cost the Rascals the title.
Because Level Up is off, so they ain't got nothing to do. So they brought him to the main, which was Tyreek and what you call it?
They showed up in TNA.
No,
they showed up in TNA.
You said like tag teams, Bianca and Naomi.
No,
that's
I mean,
tag
come on.
Teams I like. Jakar Jackson and Lex Legend.
But you can't. But they gave you that already. See, like what they gave you on NXT is what we expected this match to be.
No, I'm just saying. You asked which tag teams I like.
We talking about for the Royal Rumble.
What are we doing with AOP?
Yeah, where are they?
No, y'all go again. See, y'all trying to get them guys released again. You know, you cannot give them too much. You can't give them too much. Let them look strong. Let them have 10-minute matches and just leave them alone.
Yo, what's my guy's name? Yes, boy. Them I like them better than both of them. I like them better than I like both of them.
You have a vendetta. We got to get to this. We'll probably just run up the dark. Because Brian says vendetta against Tommaso Ciampa and
I don't like them two together. I turn on him already.
Yeah, but there's no room on TV for all this stuff. These guys are little guys. Like they're not.
I don't want to think with logic.
Okay,
they gotta have something from there.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm at least happy they're on TV because before this happened, they was in trouble. You had Tommaso Ciampa with the Miz.
That is true.
Johnny Gargano wasn't even on TV, so I was like, thank God, do something for now. And then maybe we can get them. That's the problem with smaller superstars being superstars in NXT. And then you got to get to the main roster to compete with Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. Bringing a knife to a gunfight. You put yourself in a bad situation. But like I said,
just give us New Day. I know they're on Raw, but come on now. Put the belts on for New Day.
Yes.
The New
Stop
Day's
playing
almost
around.
the New Day's bigger
Right.
than tag team wrestling. That's why they brought in the vets, because they got a lot of young tag teams.
Mhm.
Like, think about it. Ever since Motive City Machine Guns got there, they've been working with all the young dudes, like just randomly. And I'm like, okay, well, there you go. They're like, okay, cool. Because they say it every time they come out there. Like, most of your superstars now modeled their careers after watching these guys. So it's like, okay, well, cool. Now give them some veteran wisdom, and as we slow build this tag team division. But Brother Hugh and Brian H. Hollywood is not feeling these guys. It's okay. We're gonna move forward. I'm looking forward to the match. I think, because now I think the hardest are coming out. But if they don't, I hope I don't get sour about this.
I'm gonna be sour if they don't.
Because now it's gonna feel like a letdown. So let's talk about this.
It's got to be a reason it's on the pay per view. It's got to be.
Now I gotta wait to figure out what that reason is now. Curse this intelligence. So we're talking about the ladder match. Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is the man, by the way. He's losing weight. He wears pants now. He still thinks he's the champion. I think he got Sami Zayn to turn heel. I can't tell yet. But how you guys looking forward? You guys don't like Kevin Owens that much, so I don't know why I'm even asking you guys.
I do. You know I like Kevin.
No, I like Kevin Owens. I just don't think it's gonna happen.
Okay, so let's talk about it. You don't think Kevin Owens has a fighting chance in this situation to win this match against Cody Rhodes? This is a ladder match. Cody Rhodes, last time he's in a ladder match, from what I remember, he went flying down with Sammy G, took him down with a big cutter, and then he had stupid orange boots. And then last time after that, he was gone. So that's like, it's not a good sign. Cody Rhodes ladder matches don't mix.
3 words.
But see, my
Black
thing.
History Month. I keep saying it. I said it before. I'll say it again. It's Black History Month.
Well,
Cody
listen, man,
Rocking does not lose the belt.
I don't know how long
Come
it's
on
going to be
now.
a Black History Month, and the way things are going. So is that even going to make a difference now?
Oh,
That's right.
Well, it's still around right now. So
okay, all right. So brother Hugh, you're not
get
convinced.
canceled on Friday. Friday
I'm
is
just
going to get
saying.
canceled. So
right.
the thing is, and I'm gonna say this realness. The problem I have with Kevin Owens, he makes me believe he's going to win the title. Almost all of his matches, I feel like I'm behind him, and it's like, yep, it's his time, it's his time, it's his time.
You feel deceived, don't
like,
you?
Yeah, I'm
I
like,
feel
oh,
let
he
down
can get
too.
it. Yeah, oh yeah. So it's like he does, even though this has been brewing for a month, and yeah, I'm tired of the beatdowns, I'm tired of the word exchange. Get to the actual match, but I feel like what better way to shake up this whole Mania thing? Because I thought it was going to happen on Saturday's Night Main Event. Change the title before Mania. So I'm kind of looking forward to this match to see what they're going to do, because Kevin has made me believe he's not wrong. He actually has a point this time. He just didn't turn on a friend. It's like he's not wrong. And then like even what Shawn Michaels said, I was like, well, Shawn, you're not wrong here. He does sound a little jealous, but he's not wrong. So I'm kind of
you see my dog dropped him right where he stood. Y'all better stop playing with old head Shawn Michaels. He still got some juice left in that left knee.
Yeah, he did, because it was all on his back sweat, because his whole shirt was sweaty.
He
But
took
I'm
him
looking
out.
forward. I'm looking forward to this match, because this might give us some grit to Cody and have us start questioning our champion, quote unquote. Because I think it's going to be some questionable things happen.
Okay. So brother Hugh, you love shenanigans. The guy's not. He's already shenaniganed out. He thinks Triple H is automatically up to something. So this is the second match we didn't come to, and he's like, nope, something else is going to go down to. And he has valid reason to, because first of all, Kevin Owens is involved in the match. He has not been the same since he lost to Roman Reigns like 10 times in the last 4 years.
The handcuffs, from the handcuffs, he went down because couldn't open the handcuffs.
Yeah, he's been in a rough way. Are you smelling shenanigans and all this? How does this match have to end, brother Hugh? Because we have the Royal. This has to happen. Then we had the Rumble matches, and then we got to get to Elimination Chamber, and then we got to get to WrestleMania. Now, we're not going to sit here and try to map this whole thing out now, but what has to happen in this match at the Royal Rumble to move the needle forward to what's really going to happen long-term at Elimination Chamber and then WrestleMania? That's right. I dropped the bomb.
I feel like somehow Sammy's going to interrupt. He's going to show up and cause Kevin to lose the belt or lose the match somehow.
You don't think Sami Zayn's turning heel? I don't trust Sami Zayn.
To be honest, I want him to, but no, I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't. So,
You still buying
I'm stuck
babyface Sami Zayn?
for right now. For right now,
Okay, go ahead.
he's transitioning. He's transitioning. I'm still stuck on the fact that look, the person that beat the GOAT for the title, the
Mhm.
person that beat him, the person to beat Cody Rhodes has to be bigger or on the or pretty much on the same level as him. And no disrespect to Kevin, I don't see that. I don't see his superstar
You just
status
disrespected him.
is being on the same level as Cody Rhodes.
True.
You see what I'm saying?
I mean, no,
So
not true. I didn't say that, Kevin.
that's especially after what we had on Monday with CM
True.
Punk.
Yeah,
So
we
what
had
I'm thinking,
that too.
and,
Yep.
and yes, I'm going back to it. What I'm thinking is CM Punk is going to get his WrestleMania main event. So he's
Mhm.
going to take the Rumble. He's
He
going to
has
beat
to.
Cody.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to beat Cody. That's
Dang
how
it.
we get the spinner belt. That's how we get the spinner belt back.
Why are you? Just,
I'm
so
just
you
I'm just
convinced?
saying.
Yeah. So
I'm just
you really
throwing it
think
out there.
You know,
you
Punk
didn't
didn't
want that
like
belt in
that
the
belt,
first
right?
place?
I don't care if you don't. It doesn't matter if you don't like that belt though. That's the
So
belt
you
that
think he's gonna
he's.
be on some Alundra braids? Like, look, I threw the belt in the trash can, but now every time you see her, she's got it.
Yo,
It's kind of a
Why
part
not?
of her now. It's kind of a
Why
part of
not?
her. Like
Why not?
it's
I'm
kind
hoping
of her
for it.
trademark.
I feel
And you
bad.
know why I'm hoping it? You know why I'm hoping for it? Because that means we got another show coming up. Championship Culture.
It's the spinner belt.
That's what I'm waiting for. That's it.
Y'all
Spin it.
better do
Okay.
that show in the anniversary because that belt ain't coming back.
Listen to me. It's popping up a lot more than it's more now. I'm seeing more and more spinners in the audience. So y'all are making. I used to be settled, but now I'm suspicious. Brian H, how do you feel
Yeah,
about this
man.
match? Are you buying this whole situation? Brother Brandon said something very crucial, but then again, so did Brother Hugh. I'm saying to myself, all right, now I'm conflicted because I don't know how to view this situation. Does something necessarily have to happen? Because there's no way in the world Kevin Owens' run is done right now. Like you
Mhm.
don't do all this for it to end that Royal Rumble, and then you have nothing for him to do. That's what Vince used to do. He comes out, he has the match of a lifetime with Stone Cold Steve Austin, and then on Monday we're like, oh snap, Kevin Owens is going again, and then he's like in a storyline with Ezekiel, and it didn't go. He's like, wait a minute, what happened? You gave us all that momentum, and then you do nothing with it. It took him all that time to get back to that space, and then you sent him right back to the foolishness. So
But
what?
you already have his plan. You already have his plan. My bad, Brian. You already have his plan.
What's his
Like
plan? Go
Sammy.
ahead. What he says? What?
Sammy. He said something. He said something way back in the interview. He was like, "Look, I got something for Sammy.
Oh
I'm gonna handle
shoot!
Sammy."
Dang it! Oh
So
man!
once he loses this, him and Sammy, they're gonna build this storyline up to WrestleMania, and then we're gonna get
Oh
them two
jeez!
again.
Slow it down just a little bit. You're right there where I'm
Go ahead,
going.
Brian Edge. Because you guys, I'm gonna tell you right now. I left a blank slate in my brain. I said I'm gonna listen to the brothers today, and I'm gonna start speculating now based on what they said. You guys have mapped out some stuff for me, and now I'm getting excited about WrestleMania because now that makes sense. I wasn't putting nothing and nothing together because I'm not about to get pulled down that rabbit hole. Triple H, you're not getting me. You're in the Hall of Fame.
Because he's gonna
Cut
be
it out.
expected. He's gonna be.
That's what I'm
expecting
saying.
Sammy
I'm
to
like, I'm
help
not
him.
doing that.
And when Sammy don't, that's gonna lead to that issue.
Here we
Yep.
go.
Go ahead, Brian H.
You asked
Talk
for
to it, Brian.
shenanigans. It happens, right? I could
Okay.
see a stalemate. Cody comes down with the winged eagle. Kevin Owens comes down with the logo belt, right?
Now that it's hanging above the ceiling. It's gonna be already there. Remember that.
Yeah,
That's why
but I'm saying
the belt.
they both come down, each with the wrong belt.
Oh, okay, my fault. You talking about in the match? I thought you was talking about coming down to the
Yeah.
ring. Got you. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah. So that's one scenario, or a scenario in which Sami Zayn does get involved. He's conflicted, right?
Ooh. Yeah.
And then, boom, he costs Kevin Owens the match. They try to make up for it. Where is the Elimination Chamber? In Toronto.
Toronto, out of all places.
Yeah.
That's where Sammy and KO do their team up or whatever. They try, or if Kevin Owens get the rematch, that's where they have their match. And then boom, that's where Sammy does the full turn on him. The set
What
us up for
what if-
WrestleMania.
Can I ask you a question? Is there a scenario where you see them both qualify for Elimination Chamber?
Mm-hmm.
Where like
Sammy
maybe
always
Kevin
picks
Owens,
Kevin though. It
Yeah,
seems
but-
like he always picks Kevin at the last moment. Kevin
So-
never picks him though.
So here's something I noticed, Brian H. I want you to pencil this in because maybe this is too far from what you've already said.
Mhm.
Something I noticed when Kevin Owens pulled up on Sami Zayn, said, "You know what? You get it. You forgave him. we're best friends. We kind of do this dance. This is our thing. And then when he's hit, Sami Zayn has hit Cody Rhodes twice, and Kevin Owens kind of tapped him on the shoulder like, thanks. And with CM Punk kind of addressed Cody Rhodes about what's going on. We're going to get into him in a second. And I was like, okay, is there something to, hey, we're both trying to go after the same thing, and Kevin Owens kind of turning on Sami like, you're being selfish about this. Like, I thought we were on the same page. Like, I had your back, you're supposed to have mine, and now you're competing with me for, this top prize. Do you see that? Does that play into what you said in any way, or do you feel like it has to be something like maybe it's a mistake or happenstance or whatever? Because in my mind, what would cause Kevin Owens to take all that frustration and energy that he had towards Cody Rhodes and clearly put it towards Sami Zayn? You know what I mean? Like, what would get him to snap? Like, you know what? You were against me the whole time. You were jealous of me. You were just trying to, like, you know how Kevin Owens gets when he gets in his space. How does he redirect that frustration? Because he went from Roman to Cody. Now it's got to go from, we're assuming it's going to go from Cody to Sami, but how does it get to that point?
I think it comes down to where Sami don't help him. And then in the Royal Rumble match, there's a situation where even if it's a subtle 1 or 2 eliminations, where Kevin Owens can go back to the tape. Remember, he's the only person who watches the whole show. So he can go back to that tape and say, hey, you didn't help me, but you helped Roman eliminate the third person. You helped Roman do this. You still want to be a part of the bloodline. And I think that's how we get Roman versus Sami versus KO. I would like to see Sami challenging for the title at Elimination Chamber, and then KO costing him the title match.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, you could pencil him there with Gunther. It would make sense. Sami's on. Wait, what show is he on?
I can't ever tell. I thought he was on Raw.
I think he's on Raw.
I
he was on Raw with Jey Uso.
Yeah, because KO was on SmackDown. Just put him up,
and now Damian Priest is on SmackDown.
Right.
But see, that's that Triple H stuff. Triple H always did the super shows. He was always blending, and that's how we used to always lose the brand splits. Because Triple H was always penciling in, they're crossing over stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. But we're all in agreement that this is most likely going to lead to somehow Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. This is where we go. What about you, brother guys? Is that the same space that you in? Like this is going to lead to, it's going to go from Cody and Kevin Owens, close this out, because Cody Rhodes keeps saying, I'm moving on from you. You think this leads to Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens? Because at first I was like, this might just be not a filler match, but like a Titan clash. But I'm like, wait a minute, this might move.
This might be
something else.
Yeah, it's going to lead. I hate to say it, it's going to lead to them two, because there's so many. And I keep getting back to the same statement that WWE got a healthy problem, but now we're starting to see the problem with so many superstars. Because 5 years ago, this would have been Cody versus Brock Lesnar. This would have been Cody versus, insert whoever
could put on the biggest show, the Vince book.
Let's have him come back.
The greatest show on earth.
But now we're so vested in this because this match could literally be anybody else, and we care just as much because it could lead to something else. And that's what I'm saying. I think by him saying, hey, you help me, I help you, this is going to go on before the Rumble. So Sami's going to have to make a decision because it's going to cost him a issue in the Rumble, because we didn't even get to the fact that if Kevin loses, what if he takes Sami out and take his spot in the Rumble? And that's what leads to that Mania match. He could be mad because he didn't help him, so you don't get in the match. I'm going in the match. But we shall see. I mean, we just see stranger things.
Yeah, you never know.
Do we get Randy? Do we get Randy during this match, or do we get Randy in the Rumble?
I'm assuming a Rumble. Just gotta get a Rumble pop.
Okay.
You think Rumble? Oh.
I think so.
Because I mean, you can insert him into this too.
But that's the whole point, brother. He just added a wrinkle. Talk about Randy Orton, because I forgot about him. But he does have beef with Randy Orton. Like he put Randy Orton out
with that regular power driver.
And no, that's not the reason. He had did multiple things, and it was a buildup. That was just the straw that broke the camel's proverbial back. Don't do that. Kevin Owens is a dangerous man.
So much conviction. Don't do that.
He's a dangerous man. Don't you forget it. You know he's dangerous.
Yeah, he is. He is.
But I wasn't thinking about Randy Orton, brother Hugh. Go ahead,
I forgot about
please
Orton.
add that to the mix.
I mean, I don't know how it would happen, but if he gets involved in the match, of course he's going to go after Kevin. But then you know how Randy is also. What if he comes back and does something to Cody too?
Yeah, you never know. I don't trust Randy Orton. But I don't know. Is Randy on his heel? Like he's on his he's on his good guy run. He's like, for the first time in my career, people are singing along to my song. Is he willing to give that up to be a bad guy? He might though, because something's wrong with Randy Orton. He might, you know what, I can't take
it
this.
Don't matter. Exactly. You know it don't matter with Randy.
I'm not used to people being this nice to me. I don't like it. You're right. So I don't know. That's a
I had to
question.
remind you who I am.
But if he goes,
these Twitch streamers too, he got to stay a babyface. All these Twitch streamers come out. That's what Randy's a gamer and he be twitching. So you know he's got to be the one who be hanging out with the celebrities. I don't know if he's ready to turn heel yet.
Well, he's gonna have to turn heel soon if he's gonna fight Cena or Cody Rhodes.
See, I think Cody Rhodes has his hand full.
Yo,
I mean,
he
later
look
on down the
old,
line,
yo.
of
He
course,
look tired. He look.
You saw that? You saw
Yes.
that? Yeah.
No, that's called manipulation. He's being manipulative.
He
Okay.
put makeup on that day.
Your champion? See, my champion always look good.
No, that's because he wrestled twice in 6 years.
Hey, when we come to the schedule, it's easy.
Cody Rhodes wrestles every night.
Ain't nobody tell him to beat a Bret Hart. Bret Hart didn't look that tired.
No, he didn't. We're not going to compare Bret Hart to Cody Rhodes because Bret Hart looked goddamn good and he was in the hood. He was in the projects with them kids with the video of it. So he stopped in the hood and everything. So he never looked bad.
Yeah, I don't see Cody in the hood. I see him in the safe black zones.
I mean, he's at the Thanksgiving table, stuff like that.
No,
He's at the cookout.
No collard greens and mac and cheese.
He's at the barbecue. He's in the safe zones. Bret was in the hood. Razor Ramon was in the hood.
Razor Ramon definitely was in the hood.
See, Prototype says Randy's going to come back during this match, not the Rumble.
Okay, so Prototype's convinced that this is he's well. I don't know. This is
too much. It's too much.
This is what I'm talking
Reigns
about.
works more.
Exactly. This is exactly what happens.
He fits more into. I don't know though. Like why would Randy Orton come back and interfere in this match, or would it be after the fact?
Stick it to Kevin.
It would make it would make sense to stick it to Kevin. Yeah,
right. But if he does something to Kevin, he costs Cody Rhodes the championship or the match in general. Like, and you know what I mean?
It's a ladder.
No, he could push Kevin off the ladder.
Oh shoot, you're right. It is a ladder match.
So
There's no rules.
Push him off, RKO, and then Cody goes to the top.
Whoa.
Anyway, we got to move on.
Right.
We got to figure this out. But this is because I was fine till Brother Hugh said something about Randy Orton. Because I'm like, oh crap, he is coming back, isn't he? I still think that Elimination Chamber has to play you talking about the Winged Eagle or you talking about the Cody Rhodes Championship?
The Roman Reigns Championship is nice, but the Winged Eagle is gorgeous.
He tried to switch it up. No, sir. That's the Cody Rhodes Championship. You better get that blue belt all the day. Why don't you have a blue Universal Championship to represent that run?
I'll get it eventually.
Oh, okay.
But I got that one. Well, you can't.
No, don't bring that one up. No, don't bring that one up. You need the blue one. That's the one that represents Roman Reigns.
That's the one.
Roman. All three of them.
Eat that. Remember?
That was tough though. He came out with all three. Anyways,
that was great, especially when Paul even was holding them.
Yeah, that was vicious.
You addressed him as 2K cover man, Paul Heyman.
I was just about to say, shout out also quick to Roman Reigns for and Paul Heyman for being on the cover of the new 2K25 WWE.
So you just not gonna mention that my guy's on there?
Who's on there, Hugh?
That's a special edition. No, listen, we can acknowledge him, Brother Hugh, but you have to go ahead, put him on the big screen. You have to pronounce and say his full name. His full name, not his American version there.
Who's on there, Hugh? Who's on the cover?
Hey, I ain't even gonna try to mess that up. I ain't gonna mess that one up.
Yeah,
who's your tribal chief?
The real tribal chief, Tonga Loa, baby. Come on, man. He's on there, bro. Put some respect on his name.
But
put some respect on his name, bro.
This is why Roman.
Look, he's actually on my screen now as Camacho.
You lift up the whole family. This is what people do. He took the whole family with him.
He did though. He did.
The distant cousin. He put everybody.
Sami
on-
Zayn's on the cover too.
So they all getting cover credit. They all getting bread.
They trying to get that money.
Exactly. He lifted the whole family. That's what. See, that's
What do they eat? They eating, right?
no. We
It-
not
it-
eating steak yet. We still eating
Nah,
that dried chicken that Brandy
You
cooked.
still on
and
the fried
cookies.
chicken? Okay.
So you
Dry.
making it personal. He called it dry. You trying to say she can't?
First off, Brandy can't cook fried chicken.
That's wild. That's wild.
Y'all are terrible.
Okay.
That's wild.
I ain't
I
gonna-
ain't say
She's
that,
probably
Brandy.
she's probably like a vegan or something and eat tofu. She probably doesn't eat fried chicken.
He ain't lying.
But I ain't
Dang.
gonna disrespect her. But I'll just talk about the, you know. Well,
I'm not
Deborah made the
disrespecting.
bad
I'm just
cooking.
calling it what it is.
But I'm just saying we not eating steak yet, and I'm hungry.
Okay.
You know, see
Well,
the world's
listen.
collapsing. This has just
Yeah.
been one long January, and your
Yep.
champion's face says it.
You could say Cody Rhodes his words was slurring a little bit. We'll get to that in a second. He's like, CM Punk, what are you gonna tell me? I'm like, oh, Cody, man, you do need a nap. He's making
Meanwhile, Punk looked good. Punk looked better today than he did during his run. I had just watched his match with The Rock where he lost the title. I'm like, goodness gracious,
Bro,
you know, and
that's
his AEW run looked terrible, but Punk looked rejuvenated.
that's because his mental was in a better space now because that
Mhm.
era when he was angry was not great. You look at it now, you're like, ooh, these shows weren't that great. Like the matches were actually, you know,
Hey.
but
We put on some good shows though.
we did shows on a lot of that stuff. I was like, man, we pulled it out. They owe us. Why weren't we invited to Royal Rumble like O'Shea Jackson, his podcast? We should be on the list. I'll text him and see what he says.
Mhm.
So yeah, going to the women's Rumble match. There's a lot going on in women's wrestling right now.
Yes,
But the biggest thing is, first of all, let's establish. Everybody say who they think is going to win the women's Rumble match. That's the first thing. And then the second thing we need to address is what are we expecting as far as surprises, comebacks, returns, whatever you want to call it. So first of all, brother guy, who wins this year's women's Royal Rumble match?
Jordan Grace.
Jordan Grace, that's one. Brian H, who wins this year's Royal Rumble match?
bro, I really don't know.
That's right, on the spot.
Oh, Charlotte Flair. I'm tripping.
Charlotte Flair, that's two. Brother Hugh, who wins this year Royal Rumble match? And make sure you answer correctly because you have women that are watching you that are involved in this match that you may or may not be involved with. So just tiptoe,
He
God.
trying to
brother.
tell you. He trying to tell
He
you
had
how
to
to say
stop.
Nia Jax.
He had to
trying
stop
to
and think about it because they hold on, brother.
Yeah.
I don't want to get you in
He might
trouble.
not be able to go to the
He gonna be in
football
a
game.
he gonna be in a 3-way for real.
Now,
Go
to be
ahead,
honest, what if we can do EO? I'm doing something
Okay.
different. Go with EO.
EO
Okay.
Sky, that's three.
Mhm.
That's a good
Me,
pick.
I'm almost convinced it's definitely going to be Charlotte Flair.
Mhm.
Right.
Now, I don't know how that's going to go well as far as like the roster because can you imagine you busting your tail all year and you may not be as big as Charlotte Flair, but she's out for 2.5 years and comes back like, all right, I got the main event of WrestleMania.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I mean, she's worth it because she's Charlotte Flair. She has the, you know what I mean? She don't have nothing to prove at this point. She's an immediate draw. But
She's
But yes,
repacked-
it was
she's,
between-
got a fresh
You said
coat of
what?
paint, too. She's
Yeah.
Look at the package. I'm like, woo.
Yeah, she looks lean. She looks like really motivated athletically. I was like, oh yeah, she was already a freak of nature as far as being an athlete, but oh boy,
I feel
She
like
like- she
I
looks
feel
like a
like she doesn't
machine.
have. I feel like she doesn't have to win the Rumble though.
she
Let's
doesn't.
give that to
That's
somebody else, just for that reason that you said. She's out
True.
for forever and then comes back. That's what she usually does, or that's the way she's usually booked. Switch it up this time.
I don't
And
want to see her win just because I don't want to see a repeat winner just yet.
sure,
As far as
there's a
women
ton of women on the
are
roster. You want to see a new superstar, and also
Yeah.
Right.
she may not want to come back and jump back into that grind. You know what I mean? Being at the top of the card and have to, you know what I mean? She may want it. Don't get me wrong, but then again, it might be a bit much to
And
address.
it's a
But
different grind than what she was used to before. Think about it.
That's
That's why
also
you
true.
jump Jade.
There's a whole and the thing is, and I think with her, she
You'll say she
might
jumped
want the
Jade.
title.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, she did. Well, she had.
so
the-
you drinking that Kool-Aid
she had-
too?
She had the Meta Girls do it. Because
Oh,
they need the
geez.
belts. But I want to say this about the Rumble before we get into a death with it. I think that this year, because Triple H has been doing it and letting us know, we can stop saying Triple H. In this era, they've been making us pay attention. The numbers matter. when someone comes out, how long they've been in the Rumble means
Mhm.
just as much as them winning, which is crazy to me because we really didn't care about what number somebody came in, how many all we cared about how many they eliminated and whether they were surprised. Somebody coming in at 102, lasting an hour, that means almost as much. Yeah, it's not the rate of WrestleMania, but that helps push their career to another level. Think about that year Gunther went all that way, runner up. That's what propelled him to the Intercontinental title. You know what I'm
True.
saying? Like every
Yeah.
time they've been saying that. So that's what I'm saying. It's going to be a thing that these numbers are going to matter. If Charlotte Flair comes back number 27, she's down to the last 6, guarantee going to win. But if Jordan Grace is like number 102 and go ahead and get the shock out the way that she's there,
Mhm.
Iron Woman passes Bailey's record, has eliminations, because you got to put her in such a big spot to say she deserves that match at Mania. I think that's the way that we're going to go. But if she comes in lower in the numbers, I'm sorry, closer to the 30, I don't think she's going to win.
Okay.
So do y'all pull the trigger on Jordan Grace this early?
No,
I was going to address that. You said no, Brian H.
no.
Here's what I'm
I did.
saying. Here's where I think you might be onto something, brother guy. I've noticed something. When I watch these, we're watching the Rumble marathon, as bad as some of them have been. I noticed something.
You was on the Vault page.
I think it was the Volt page. I think the Volt is what they
'Cause
played the
ran
24-hour.
marathon. Yeah.
Yeah, they got
Yeah,
hard on it.
the marathon. And I noticed something. When you're creating a superstar in the Rumble, they always have a really good year, the year before, runner up, then the next year they either win it or in that span they become like some sort of champion. The next build we saw with Bianca Belair, Tiffany Stratton. We saw it with Roman Reigns. We saw it with Stone Cold Steve Austin in '97. We saw it specifically with Jordan Grace last year. We were like, why are they letting the girl from TNA last as long as she did? Like, she wasn't like, she didn't make an appearance, had her moment, and then she was gone. I was almost convinced she almost, I could be wrong. Was she not in the Final Four?
No, she wasn't in the Final
No, she
Four. She
wasn't.
didn't even have no
She got-
eliminations though.
She was,
But she
was,
made it pretty far because she had
And
a
I
lot
was
of
like-
stare downs and a lot of face to
That's what it
face with
was.
a lot of women.
Yeah, that's what it was. She just had the stare downs and stuff, but she didn't have no eliminations or she didn't make the Final Four, but she had the moments.
She had the most moments out of, I think, all the women, didn't she? Because her and Naomi had the hugging each other thing.
Right.
Her and
Sure.
Bianca, didn't her and Jade have a stare down too?
Yeah, they were telling those stories for sure.
yeah,
There's a lot of people.
this might be her like, hey, introduction year, and then maybe next year they might go with her because I think she's a star, like waiting to. But it's like, okay, think about it. Who is up next? For me, I can't tell who has the most momentum. That's from the
hardest
women.
part.
You feel me?
That's why I say
we,
you bring her in. Well, we all know that she's coming to WWE. You bring her in, she wins the Rumble. You don't declare which one she's going for because this is the year to make her your next big thing. And not only so, you're building her and the other women at the same time. And when I say other women, some of the returns that we might get. We got a mid-card division. We got all of these different things that she can be inserted in because she's already been through the developmental, quote unquote, per se. And I don't want to say TNA or NXT as a developmental. She's a big enough that imagine what Triple H can do with a video package with her to make you care and get behind her. Would it be levels of like Kofi Mania? No. Would it be levels of, Jordan Grace, the Juggernaut? Things that we need to be able to see. And with the crossover appeal, now I think she's going to stop doing so many, photos that she's been doing. But I think that they can propel her.
so you've been lurking. You've been seeing them, haven't you?
Yeah. So I think she
He
can
said,
kick off night
tried to
2
gloss over it.
WrestleMania. I know I did. Kick off night 2 WrestleMania for her title match. It doesn't have to be a main event. Like just because she wins the Rumble doesn't mean that she's going to be the main event of night 1 or night 2. She can be the opener for night 1 or night 2. Because look how great those openers were at WrestleMania. We remember those, but then we also remember EO versus Bailey, and that was close in the middle of night 2. So
I don't think she does it, man. I think she's one of those people that you can help uplift that mid card title.
Yeah, you gotta have somebody
right
working
now.
with
Really?
Valkyra.
And
So
that's
let me.
no disrespect to her, because she can work.
You,
She can definitely be up there with the, in the heavyweight division or whatnot, or for the world title. But that mid card title right now, that division is kind of weak.
okay. So
So good.
with
Hmm.
that being said, since you think it's kind of weak, don't you think it would make more sense for some of the older girls that's already won the world titles to kind of take some of
Bingo.
their time and work with the young girls instead of the new faces working? Because it's like if Bailey goes after Chelsea Green, it's going to mean something because it's Bailey. She has a storied history, but if they all can't stay at the top, you know what I mean? Because you got to try to build new stars. Which is why Tiffany Stratton is your new WWE champion. You know what I mean? Like, wait a minute, she's the
Hmm.
WWE women's, because they're like, we got to build her. We gotta make her into something. Like they did the same thing with Bianca. They did the same thing with all the ladies that kind of came after the 4 horsewomen. Like we got to make them something. We did the same thing with Rhea Ripley. So it to
Charlotte
me,
had the same belt her father had in the United States or the Intercontinental, and
that's
the
what I'm
belt
saying.
that her husband had, the U.S.
Those
title.
are
She can.
those are new stories to tell, right? That's more
Right.
for them to do because like we made fun of Charlotte for being a 13-time, a 50-time women's champ, but it was like, well, someone that good, it was nothing else for you to do with her but have her in that conversation all the time. Now
Absolutely.
she's coming back to a whole different landscape, and there's more stories to tell. There's different ways to tell it. There's different championships to go. So like there's a transfer portal. So there's windows, you know what I mean, where women like, look, yeah, I may be a 15-time world champion, but there's other championships that I want attached to my lineage, because who wouldn't want to be a part of the Intercontinental Champion? Who wouldn't want to be a part of the United States Championship lineage? This is the first time we're getting this. So why wouldn't you have those veteran girls? Also, the young girls need the rubs to say, okay, cool. Like, who do we work with? We can't keep working. I don't believe with young people working with young people because people are just not going to care. Like, you got to get, like I said, I didn't know nothing about Tiffany Stratton until I watched Becky Lynch go to NXT, and that became a thing. I said, oh my goodness, this young lady, Tiffany Stratton, is a problem. Like, she is super, like, that's when I became a fan of her. But I wouldn't go see her show if Becky Lynch wasn't. When they said the man showed up in NXT, I said, I'll turn into it next week. The week before that, I don't have to. Like, I don't have to. I could just catch the highlights. I had no reason to watch the show. Becky Lynch goes down there. I had a reason to watch. She beefed with Tiffany Stratton. They had a thing. And now I know who Tiffany Stratton is. And I follow her from NXT to the main roster. I'm an old school fan. That's just the way it works for me. Not Tiffany Stratton versus Laya Valkyria. Look, I'm sure they tore down the house, but I'm not interested. I'm not invested in either one of them yet. But yet, Becky Lynch gave me a reason to invest in this young lady. And I was thoroughly impressed. And I stayed with her. So when Becky Lynch went to go handle her business, I said, no, Tiffany Stratton is a problem. And she's entertaining, and she's got the chops. So that's just me. You know what I mean? You know, so it's like there's room at the top for her. There's one young champion, like a fresh faced champion, but then you have an established champion like Rhea on the other side. So, you know what I mean? I don't know, but it's hard to say who's up next, because like who was up next? It was Tiffany Stratton, but she's already the champion now. So where do we go? Do we go with a vet? I can see Charlotte versus Tiffany Stratton.
A vet. She get a vet to put her over.
Yeah. She needs, because Gunther has the same problem now. Like he doesn't have that rival. He doesn't have that dance partner. So
Pack it up.
Say, look, so I'm gonna name a couple of names for this year's Women's Royal Rumble, and you guys tell me you'd be happy to hear these names. Becky Lynch, Asuka, Nikki Bella, Jade, Alexa Bliss, and Carmella.
Yes, that's what I had Carmella as a return. She's got to come back because she needs that mid card title. Needs her. She's the answer to Chelsea Green almost.
I think girls like Carmella, Alexa Bliss, you know, Asuka, you know what I mean? These are who these young, talented young ladies need. You know what I mean? People that have been there, and these names that make you say, okay, Natalia. I keep disrespecting her. It's not funny, Brian H.
You forgot two people. You forgot two important names.
Go ahead, name somebody else.
Because the tag team champions are going to be in the Rumble, we forgot about the Tongan twins.
Do you think they debut at Royal Rumble?
They making a lot of noise on social media.
They did, but they're also really green, about as green as this background.
And guess what? Showing in what you call it, and then showing up NXT, is what they need, and they got what's that new show LFG.
Mhm.
Yes, the new Tough Enough show. Thank you. They brought it back
Mhm.
somehow. They
I
gotta
mean,
have.
you got. And what have they been WWE ID'd yet?
I don't know
No,
yet.
because
I don't think
they too busy screaming, pick me, pick me. They sound like Moose right now. And when
Don't
you
I
do
guess-
that, but the
So-
thing is, like, if you like looking at wrestling and the internet, a lot of times, if you look at Jordan Grace went out there and took care of business, did her thing, and then
She
boom,
did.
next thing you know, she was on WWE TV. Ever
Transformed
since,
himself.
yeah, it doesn't work like in professional businesses. It doesn't work in sports, and it don't work in wrestling. I don't,
You ain't lying.
So I mean, would it be cool? But nah, they'll be partying at Wally Mania.
That's why I said it would be cool. I didn't say it would
That's
be
crazy.
great, but I think that if he's trying to do what you call it,
Yeah, he has. Triple H has never been shy about pulling a trigger on Adam. Because remember that the first Women's Royal Rumble was almost every superstar that didn't have a chance to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then like not the next year, but maybe the year after, it was all fresh faces. We were like,
yep.
Who
Who
are
are these
these
women? Like,
people?
oh, that's her from
Yeah.
NXT. Oh, that's such from the Mae
now
Young
we
Classic.
know exactly who
Oh,
they
that's
are
her.
months later. Because if you go back and watch them, it's like, oh wow, look at her. She didn't even know who she was at the time, but you know who these young ladies are
Didn't
now.
even look like herself.
Yeah, so it's
It
like
wasn't King Carter
I
a
don't
different
know.
name?
This is tough,
Probably.
but I just need
Man.
Last Legend to show up and show out.
I'm sure
That's all
her
I need.
and is
I know who
Jakara
I
Jackson?
want to win the Royal Rumble. Trish
Yeah.
Who's
Stratus.
that?
Trish
said-
Stratus.
Come on. You just said talked about
He just
Young
touched
talent.
himself.
25 years of Trish.
I wouldn't be surprised. She still has the itch. She's still in excellent shape. She's had some time off.
She,
Give me
And we all
she's
love
showing up at the chamber.
Tiffany
She's gonna show up
Stratton.
at-
Lord, have
She's
mercy.
showing up at the chamber. She's definitely gonna be at the chamber.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
Anyway.
is that what she's coming to
Yeah.
the chamber?
Mandy
know.
Rose ready to come back?
Mandy Rose is another one. They told me
She
might
talking
be.
And AJ Lee. You forgot about
I didn't know if
AJ
that was
Lee? Still
serious.
lurking.
AJ Lee's name is out there.
Yeah.
Like I said, the CM Punk wave is he has merchandise with his dog's name on it, so he's very influential
He has a
about
whole plush dog.
Man,
Yeah,
what
he's got a
world we
little-
living in where Tonga Low is on the cover of 2K and Larry got merch.
This is the new day,
Stop
Brian H.
disrespecting, bro.
It's a new day. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Oh boy, but those are some of the some of the surprises and stuff that we're looking forward to as far as the women's Rumble match. We all named who we think is it's a good chance. I'm still going with Charlotte. Is everybody still sticking to their picks?
Yes.
My picks are
I
always
am.
Charlotte and Asuka. Like I'm just not gonna lie to you. This is safe bets for me personally. But I don't know. We'll see. This is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that and all the surprises and I don't know. We might get a little bit of shenanigery. They usually polite when it comes to the women.
You already know,
Larry-
Jermaine. You and
Larry,
Dwayne, y'all
sure.
both 6'8".
Oh, okay, so
Somebody
there you
say
go. Big
Santina.
fellas unite.
Santina
Yeah,
coming
but-
in there.
You
No,
say
Santina
Santina.
Morella.
Yeah.
Listen to me.
Well, I'm still
got
mad
me.
about WrestleMania 25.
You just can't let it go, can you?
No.
Flair, your girlfriend got a new shirt.
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm. They'll love that one.
So moving on to, I guess, the men's rumble. We talked about this. Brian H. already. Let's just save some time. You've already made it clear. Last time we talked about this 2 weeks ago, you said it was Roman Reigns. I'm not so convinced that it's Roman Reigns at this point. It's because, and I'm gonna tell you why. CM Punk approached Cody Rhodes, and he presented a new wrinkle. And I feel like Triple H is doing this on purpose, or I might be being paranoid. I'm like, wait a minute. I never thought that CM Punk would call a shot against Cody Rhodes. Listen, you're burnt out. You look crazy. This is too much. Trust me, I've been there.
You're black. You're twisted. You're girl.
It's like, yeah, yeah. It's like it's time for you to go home and get some spend time with your
Old
family.
man say you stupid. You be like, so
I love my baby mother. I'll never let her go.
I never let it go.
So it's like, that's pretty much what CM Punk pretty much pressed down on Cody Rhodes about in that terminology, give or take. And he said the problem is the good news is you'll be free to do what you need to do to get yourself together. The bad news is I'm putting you out to pasture. and we're friends. So I'm telling you to your face, I'm calling my shot. I want that championship, and I want it at the main event of WrestleMania. I'm like, okay, brother Hugh, you said it out your mouth. You said it. You said there's got to be somebody that's got to match that same level. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
There's got to be somebody like it can't just be the person who beat whoever the person that beats Roman. You know what I mean? It's got to be. And I'm like, if you look at the star power, Gunther is already at the top. He's got to build his legacy. Who else is there besides Punk? He. This is the anniversary when he tore his dang on his pec off his dang on chest, and you got to use him as much as you can. Brother Brandon said a couple. He's like, look, man, Punk's getting older. You got to be able to use him now before
30.
Yeah, like you got to preserve this dude. Like this is peak Punk right now. He's in good shape. He looks good. He's happy. His mental's in good space. You got to get the most out of him. He's got like 13 action figures out. That's how you know money's rolling in. So him saying what he said to Cody said, well, shoot, I'm not so convinced that Roman Reigns is going to be successful at this year's Royal Rumble. Now, I think that has a lot to do with the next chapter of that situation. We're not back with, our favorite pro wrestling soap opera as the bloodline turns. We've taken a break from that. This season has ended already. But now I'm not so convinced. I'm like, he seems to be the favorite. Like, why the heck, if he's not in that match, but he's probably going to have everybody gunning for him also.
Mhm.
The same way Kevin Owens feels about him. He ran roughshod, and you got Drew McIntyre that's made it very clear. I have to save WWE from Roman Reigns. Do you guys remember what it was like when he was on top? Now he's got his face on the cover of 2K25, and he's got his face on the cover of the special edition. But then you have Drew McIntyre that pretty much tells he pulls up on Paul Heyman and tells him, tell your boy I'm gonna throw him over the ropes and whatever the case may be. And he said, I'll tell Roman. He said, I'm not talking about Roman. I'm talking about CM Punk. I'm like, okay, so now you still got Drew beefing with Roman. He's beefing with CM Punk. I don't know what direction that we're going in at this point because I don't know who's going what. You still got this favor that CM Punk still owes Paul Heyman that they're bringing up, but nobody wants to talk about. I'm confused. 2 weeks ago, we was convinced it was going to be Roman, but what are we thinking now? Where are we now that this is a few days away? Are we still thinking Roman is still the favorite? Are we going with CM Punk? How does CM Punk get his main event? Let's start with you, Brother Hugh, because you're the one that said that he has to main event WrestleMania this year. He has to be the one. Where are we at, Brother Hugh? How does CM Punk win this year's Royal Rumble?
Yes, he does. And yes, he goes to WrestleMania, and I believe he wins the title.
Okay,
like you said,
hold on.
like you said,
You got to
like
get
Brandon
this one.
said, like Brandon said, he's older, and you don't know how much longer you're gonna have a healthy CM Punk.
True.
Get that stuff out the way right now. Get it out the way. There's a reason they kept bringing it up. They said it, but the last couple weeks. Oh, you haven't had a main event at WrestleMania. I said this last week. So I feel like they kind of throwing it out there. Like, look, he's gonna get his main event, and like I said earlier, he's a big enough star to take it off of Cody, and the fans gonna love it.
Yeah.
It makes sense. It makes sense. Plus, he's intertwined with. You still got Roman. You already got contenders lined up for him. Roman, of course, Cody again,
Seth.
Drew, Seth. Like, why not? It makes sense. It makes sense. To me, it is.
Is there a situation where he wins the WWE Championship at Elimination Chamber?
Punk?
Yeah. Because that's kind of like, think about it. If he wins the Rumble, he gets a shot at WrestleMania, but then he ends up, if he wins the Rumble, you don't think he's even going nowhere near the chamber, right?
I don't think he goes to the chamber at all.
I mean, why would he? I guess that was a dumb question. But okay.
Yeah, we doing commentary.
Yeah, that sounds like him. What about you, Brian H? Does what Brother Hugh said make sense to you?
A little bit, but I'm gonna add on.
I knew he was gonna say something. I'm sorry.
Gunther, in my opinion, will not be champion going into WrestleMania.
Okay, so you think he's the one that's not going to go into WrestleMania as champion?
Mm-hmm.
You tell.
Well, I'm looking at this, right? This is the biggest WrestleMania of all time. I know you say that every year, but with the fact that being in Vegas, this isn't your typical 11, 21, 31. This isn't your follow-up a big WrestleMania by calming it down just a little bit. No, this is, we're going to turn a notch up another year because it's in Vegas, big money, and you know, goodness gracious, see those ticket prices. you got to have the biggest stars in all ways possible.
Don't
And I
remind me.
think,
Yeah.
and the way to do that would be either a CM Punk Cody Rhodes match, a CM Punk Roman Reigns match, or run it back CM Punk and Seth Rollins. I think that you do your for the title. Seth Rollins wins it at the Chamber, and then you run your night one main event there, and then night two
World Heavyweight Championship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now help me understand how do we get to that point if CM Punk has kind of already called a shot with Cody Rhodes, because he made it very clear, I want your championship because I want was attached to it. How do we get from him saying that to Cody instead finding himself in the main event against someone like Seth Rollins or whoever it is for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania? Like, how do we?
Because I don't think he would make
transition?
it. Yeah, I don't think he would make a decision, or he could use the right and double back on that decision, because I think Seth Rollins would lure him into it. Because one of the things he said was,
that's a good one.
Seth Rollins won't. Now you can stay away from me because I beat you, I put you down, but Rollins won't stay away. And again, you brought up the brotherhood that we never knew about, a few weeks ago. So when you look at that brotherhood, that's a reason right there. Like, oh no,
history.
That history, and I think that's the way we get there. You know what I mean?
Ooh,
everything. What makes this WrestleMania so complicated is because we don't know what the final boss is doing. That's what's making hanging everything in the balance.
The final boss. I forgot all about
because it's no way. I mean, we're, in my opinion, we're running out of years for my main event. We're running out of years. I just have to
your main event.
My main event. Protect your main event.
Because you're right. Because Rock said he got beef with Cody. They're friends again. Like you still think we got to get the what was the show? What was the show called? Young Rock. We got to get the Young Rock main event.
We got to.
We have to.
It's a must. And this would be the year to do it. And that would mean, honestly, Cody might have to take a back seat. He might have to open one of them nights. Like, look, dude, you had two main events, three main events in a row. You can sit this one out. That's
true. That's true. He's especially if he's not the biggest star right now, because Rock Roman is kind of trumps a lot of stuff. That's like you don't need a championship.
Everything.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it does everything.
If you do that, then who does Cody Rhodes face off with for the WWE Championship? Who goes after him?
Gene Cena, Randy Orton, one of them. That way, it's still a big money matchup. It's still it's not a throwaway. It's still a big money matchup, and even if it's the semi-main event or it's the opener, it's still a good look. It's a good part of the card, or it's the one of the middle matches.
They're not. It's either got to open or close the show. It's definitely
it is one night. Remember, 2 nights. You can't have that 9:00 Kofi Mania spot ain't the same. You're right. So it will open the show.
Yeah, I could definitely see Cody Rhodes and John Cena. Go ahead, Brian H.
I was gonna say a semi main event wouldn't be horrible though.
For the WWE Championship, you don't think it'd be a little looked at kind of like, well, how's this the semi?
20 years ago they did it.
It's 20 years ago.
I mean, are we
30 years ago?
All I know is every time they put somebody in a semi-main event, it took over the show. You talk about
that is true.
Shawn Michaels, Undertaker. Nobody wanted to watch Triple H and Randy Orton after that. And on paper, that match looks like, oh, this should be it. And then you go back and you watch it, and you'll start drifting. You'll be like, oh shoot, the match is still on. I try to watch it over and over again, but I'm like, but after Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, it was like, well,
I mean, you
and then Triple H.
You open it unless you got because either way, I'm looking at
Triple H, Chris Jericho. Remember your boy Rock and Hogan.
Right.
Who wanted to watch? Who you would think that WrestleMania ended with Rock and Hogan. You forgot it was a WWE Championship match after that. You feel me?
Actually, those both of the matches you named had matches in between. They had like quote unquote calm down matches. It just didn't work out because the crowd never got back up.
It didn't work out. It never got back up.
Yeah, like the Hardy Boys and Edge and Christian and like WrestleMania 17, right? There was a couple matches in between to kind of bring the crowd down. Undertaker and Triple H, they fed right into Rock and Austin because that was the perfect semi-main event match.
Right. Mhm.
You know what I mean? Rock and Austin 3 was the perfect semi-main event match for Brock and Kurt Angle. But I think the way we're conditioned now, we don't have that because even like Edge and Finn Balor, they couldn't set the tone right for Cody Roman.
Nah.
You
Sure.
know, so I think you're right. I think because you really will probably have one of the women's matches open one of the nights like you did last year with Rhea and Becky.
Okay. All right. No, listen, that makes sense. Once again, there's another wrinkle. What about you, brother guy? Where we at?
Oh Lord, I hate to say it, I still think Punk wins for the reasons that I gave before.
Because
The
your
time
favorite
is
wrestler?
ticking. No, because
Exactly.
the time is ticking. The time is
Stop
ticking.
hunting.
His time is now. You can't see him. The time. No, seriously. It's the time to do it. This has to be the time to pull the trigger. Now, on Monday, after he put that wrinkle with Cody Raheem, I don't know
Which
what
I
he
didn't
does.
see coming.
Yeah, but only thing I see that he wins, and he says, I'm going to wait till after Chamber to say who I'm going after, to add another wrinkle, because I think Gunther loses. He can't go to Mania as the champion.
Why is
because,
that?
like, Hugh made a good-
Why you guys so
Hugh made a
convinced that
good
he
point.
can't go into Mania? You and Brian H said the same.
Hugh-
Brother Hugh, do you
made
agree
a
with that
good
too?
point. You tell him the point that you made, because you can probably explain it. Because when you explained it, I said,
Do you agree with brother guy and Brian H that Gunther can't go into WrestleMania as world champion?
I didn't say that. I just said because we was talking about Jey Uso and Gunther, right?
Mhm.
That match. I said right now it seems like he has to hold on to that title because I feel like he will somewhat be irrelevant right now because his superstar status is not as powerful as say like a Jey Uso or somebody else on those type of levels. So
He
it's
has
like
no
the
feud,
only
no
way.
rival.
Yeah, exactly. He has nobody to go to fight with. So I'm afraid that he's going to get lost a little bit. I mean, he's still good because he can go in the ring, but
It's got to be more than that.
him as a superstar, people are not really going to pay attention to him. Yeah, it's just like, okay, right? So
Did somebody call him
like,
mid? Is that you, Brian H?
it was Brian. It was
Oh, that's
Brian.
terrible.
Yeah.
see, and the thing is with Gunther,
Mhm.
because he's not the face of Raw or SmackDown, everybody else is the face of something.
Don't
He
say it
really
like
is
that
not.
because he's the world
But
champion.
that's
You
what
make
I'm
it
saying.
sound bad.
He's the world. He's the world. Yes, and it is. No, it has to be bad. I want everybody to understand it. He is not the face of Netflix, of Raw, of Monday Night. He's not the face of it because right now they've done a job where it's bigger stars than him. That's not the world champion. So I don't see him going to Mania, and I think he's holding on to the belt because without that belt, who exactly is Gunther? The fact they kept putting over 80% of his career, he's been a champion.
True.
But to sum up what some of the people have been saying, do anybody remember him as NXT UK champion?
Mhm.
No, we remember him as a 666-day Intercontinental champion.
That too.
But since then, we've had 3 other champions since he's dropped it, right? So in the instance of who is Gunther without it, I don't see. I hate to say it, if he goes to Mania as champion, that's going to be a mid-card match, lost in the shuffle to check off the box that the world title was on the line. That's why I think you get it all for him in Canada, right? And then that sets the stage for who it is, because then you have all these main event players that we're all factoring into some kind of plan. Because what if Drew gets the belt at Elimination Chamber? He won it last year, remember? Drew wins Elimination Chamber again. He's the world champion. CM Punk will say, I'll see you at Mania. Or Jey Uso gets the belt and he goes to Cody and say, I'll see you at Mania. Because truthfully, CM Punk wants the main event. So whoever it is, because let's be honest, something crazy could happen. Roman could become world champion at Elimination Chamber, and Punk could say, yeah, I'll see you at Mania.
Oh, shoot, the favor.
Yeah, you get like it could be anything. We don't know what, but I think that the real story is Elimination Chamber. Rumble, I think we're gonna get that year. Like, remember how Undertaker kept saying, he kept showing up on every brand. He showed up on Raw, ECW, and SmackDown, and he didn't make his decision to the following week who he was facing. because
Yeah.
it made you believe he could go anywhere. Can you imagine CM Punk, how you draw him out to Mania is have him appear on Raw, NXT, and SmackDown to just say, yeah, I'm just here to check out my competition. I haven't decided
Yeah, like
what
Edge did
champion am I
that.
facing. Just say,
Yeah,
I don't
I
know
could
who
definitely
I'm
see him
facing.
doing that. Yeah.
And think about it. Now you can sell CM Punk shirts in every city they in. You can
True.
say CM Punk will be here. You can say all that stuff
That's that Nick Khan
until
stuff.
after Elimination Chamber. Then he says who he's gonna go after.
Mhm.
Because think about it, you could have whatever you could have the WWE champion ringside and of course the world champion in the match, and then he comes out and makes his decision at the end of the pay-per-view. I still think it's Punk. Everybody else, it's more money to be made. It's more stories to be told with everybody else, but this has to be Punk, and he's never
Wow.
won a Rumble, right?
Nope.
No, yeah, and
No.
you guys are probably right because, like I said, he had his moment last year. Like he got all the way to the end. You know what I mean? He showed out. So like usually
Half of that
you have your
arena
run.
or stadium who thought Punk was winning. It was half and half, brother. He would tell you, like, people
Yep.
went in there thinking, like, oh, this could be the year where they're going to, strap the rocket back on him.
Because
Yeah, I
that
believe-
generation that grew up on CM Punk, they're grown now. You know what I mean? So like
Mhm.
they chanted his name for 10, 12 years. You know what I mean? I'm exaggerating, of course, but still, you know what I mean? Like they wouldn't let him go. Like he was the one guy that broke through in the John Cena era, became a mega star. Like even if it was only in pro wrestling, everybody was a CM Punk chants were going on for years after he was gone. You know what I mean?
If
And,
you just
Just
keep
everybody
chanting,
is
you'll
state.
last longer than him in the UFC ring.
Yeah, that was a disaster. In every other space
And
he went
Stephanie
into.
McMahon knew how to handle it too. She was
Of course. Yep. So, So I think I'm picking CM Punk this year. Now what it does is it kind of goes, okay, it kind of opens up the door for everything else. Like crap. So what do you do with Roman? What do you do with Drew? What do you do with all these other pieces? And I think that's also gonna be some of the fun aspects of the road to WrestleMania as we get closer and closer to that time in Vegas. So with that being said, we're going to get ready to wrap this up. But are you guys looking forward to any surprises, any shenanigans? Are you expecting to see any returns? I'm just going to go and say it now. I'm expecting to see Joe Hendry show up at the Rumble. I don't know if that's obvious or not, but I mean, just that Joe Henry pop. I think he's the one guy that can handle the crossover. You know what I mean? Like, hey, people may not be familiar with TNA Prodigal because the WWE audience doesn't know him, but I think there's enough out there. His stuff went viral. So besides the Joe Hendry, you guys see any surprises, any returns, any people that you're not expecting to see or whatever?
Yes. Oh yeah. Corey Graves,
talking
I
about?
think is going to come back to set
Oh,
up.
come on. You think he's going to show up at the Rumble?
You know why? Because if Carmella comes back, he's going to come back to. Because like we got to be honest, Triple H is giving people that last or that thank you thing. He never really got his. He had to go sit down.
So you
know
think
what
he's
I'm saying? He
pulling
never
Tony
got his-
Khan, like letting Nigel McGuinness and them come back in the ring at the
Yeah, just for that
Sony.
one thing to give
Yeah.
him that good job. Here's something that you can a memory that you can have.
Okay.
And plus, you see, I didn't realize his fan base was as strong as it was either. Because when he shocked the internet, he took over for them that one day. But I think that sets up a Pat McAfee match at Mania, if not a Pat McAfee match sometime or another. And the only reason I'm saying Wade Barrett, because Wade Barrett seems to be getting the itch too. And the last one that I
He's
think
in
is
good shape.
obvious. The last one I think that's obvious is Big E.
Okay. So you think they've been pulling the wool over everybody's face. They just needed a reason to break New Day up to keep those guys heel.
I think Big E has been cleared for a while. I don't think because remember at first he was given updates about his condition. Them updates kind of stopped. And I don't know if I just missed it. Have y'all seen any kind of updates about Big E in the last 3 to 6 months?
He has stem cells.
Yeah.
Right. And they always quiet about that because remember that's what MVP did and that's what Rey Mysterio did. That's the stuff that we saw. So
yeah.
and it's like it was just kept quiet after that. They had it and then it was done. So I think we see that. But I think it's going to be packed with the stories to get us to Mania.
Right.
In this match. Whoever is the number 1 and 2, they're going to be, they had a such. Please keep certain people away from Royal Rumble, like Moose. Keep Obafemi away because we
And the
don't need our
and the
NXT
celebrities.
champion in there. Yeah, keep the
Keep the
celebrities
celebrities
away.
away.
We got plenty. It's a healthy roster that you can tell so many stories and have moments that you can have. If any celebrity, Bad Buddy.
Nah,
That's the only celebrity that's allowed
No,
to
he's
ring.
signed, so
I don't even want
He's
him
what?
in there.
You said
he
he's
has
what?
signed a contract. So he's on the roster.
Oh, so
Oh, Bad
he might
Buddy?
actually show up then. Look,
Oh,
brother, he's
okay.
not trying to hear that. He said no.
But I'm saying no celebrities. Let him be the only
Mhm.
What,
celebrity superstar.
what about you, brother Hugh? Brian H. You guys expecting any surprises? Anything? Any surprise returns or any? I'm expecting more surprise returns, honestly, for the ladies more than the men. But do you guys see anybody
That's what I was
popping up or
Because
I
they
That's
kind
what
of
I was
quiet for
thinking.
the women.
no
I
James
was
Storm or
definitely
nothing
thinking.
like that?
Nah, I was thinking. I'm thinking maybe. How's AJ?
Excuse me.
What's his
He,
time status?
I don't know.
Is
See,
he
I
over?
was thinking about
Because
AJ too, but
I'm thinking
they
we might get an AJ. I'm gonna stick with
with old
AJ and
music.
Big E. Hopefully with
Okay,
the old music. Yes, hopefully.
The what? To
because
get ready
I'm
to
praying
fly?
for that.
Get ready to
no,
fly?
No,
you talking about
I am.
his
I am.
no, not that TNA.
nah,
You
What you
are.
call
I
it?
ain't gonna do
You are.
that. I ain't gonna
The
do that.
crazy part
I
is
am.
Mm-mm.
I
I
am.
don't know the severity of this ankle injury. The last one kept him out for an entire year. And then somebody
Right,
reached out to me and said, I'm having a hard time with this. But he could have just been saying it because he knew he was plotting his return at Royal Rumble. So honestly, I don't know.
right.
But you're saying AJ, you're saying Big E. What about you, Brian H? You see any surprises, returns? This is Triple H now. Like this is his turn to do this. You know what I mean? You thinking any swerves, anything?
No, I don't think that. Not in the men's. I know last year that was a big disappointment for a lot of people, and there's
Yeah,
That's what
always
we're
no
used
big
to.
surprises, But I think we're kind of getting away from that. If anything, there's the returns I should say are people a part of the roster, such as what's that dude's name? Andrade, like last year, right? But
Mhm.
I don't see any, one off with legends. Maybe like you said with the women, but I even think the women's rosters are so strong, so I can see that happening. But if anybody, oh shoot, yeah, I think the biggest thing, I think we'll get a whoop that trick. I think that's kind of like
oh
his
yeah,
Trick Williams.
yeah,
yeah,
Trick
yeah.
Williams
Gotta
call
be
up.
I don't think it's a call up just
not a
yet.
call up. It's just
Okay.
to
Kind
test the
of,
crowd.
yeah, test the crowd thing exactly.
Oh,
Kind
okay.
of like when Mello did it, kind of
Yeah.
like yeah, it would be like that because Mello was one last year. But I think because you have such a good NXT roster, I think maybe one other NXT male. I'm not sure. Maybe Ethan Page. You
I
know
was
what I
about to say,
mean?
give me Ethan Page for that. Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
because you got former champions, and I think even with like the women, I do think maybe you get Lash and Jakara just because they've both been in the PLEs overseas
Yeah,
and been on
they've
SmackDown.
been on a run.
Yeah, they getting them ready. I thought the match the other day, it I still wanted a little bit more.
Sure.
But it didn't seem like a bad match. It just seemed like the dance partners hadn't finished putting their dance together. Like that's
Sure.
the way I saw it. I didn't see like they were so bad or they were botching. No, they just
It-
didn't finish. It just needed something else, a little bit of
Rea-
sauce on it.
reality set in is developmental.
Exactly. And Bianca and Naomi still helping them out at the end of the
Yep.
day. So I thought that was
Working with
cool.
Vince.
Yeah. So overall, I think that's it. And if anybody Trish Stratus, I'm still stick with Trish Stratus. It's
You just can't
25
let it go,
years.
can you?
I never will
I can see
I
that.
will always say thank you, Trish. But
I'm
yeah, it's
not mad at it either.
25 years. I think she got that itch. I think another run is coming. I think we'll
She
get.
said
I
she
don't.
wasn't done.
Yeah, I mean, look at her.
Well, yeah, that too.
She will be in Indianapolis. So
Oh yeah. So she's
And see,
definitely
and I
in the
guess,
Rumble.
and realness, real quick,
Mhm.
when Hollywood said, I would much rather see. I hate when we have rumbles where we see people that good and daggone well are only there because they needed 30 people to fill up. So I would love when if we see an Ethan Page, because at least that way I can think like, oh, this is new. He might have a chance instead of having Pretty Deadly in a match. They're just there to fill up a number. Angel Garza and
Like
Humberto.
actual
I think,
contenders.
yeah, actual content. Like that's why I said keep Oba away because he's already a champion. Let him stay there. It's so much more from there. But if you take a Ethan Page, Alexis King, a Sean Spears, not Sean Spears, what was his name now?
He goes by Sean Spears, but he,
I'll not Ty Dillinger, Sean Spears. People like that you've seen make moves, even if you do like a Javon Evans, I feel like these are better than let's just put the tag team in there because we needed entry number 19 and 20. You know, we needed 24.
Or you need the guys. You need the guys to like gimmickly go over. Like, look, you're not going to be in very long. We need two guys to get in for 5 minutes and get out. So we're going to throw in.
Because that's what I think Rumbles are the most impactful with. You feel like, oh, any of these people can win. When you get to that point, you're like, oh, I can see anybody winning this match. That's in it. Not, oh, yeah, you know, he's about to get eliminated. He's only there to get eliminated.
Okay. There's one person that I'm expecting to see.
AJ Lee.
What's up?
No, it's Mick Foley. He didn't lose 100 pounds for no reason.
That is true. I ain't even
I didn't think about that. Oh man!
Remember, Mick Foley was trying to lose weight to have one more match, but then he said he canceled it because he had, in the midst of him training, he had sustained a concussion. But a Rumble's a Rumble. Like what I mean, you don't got to even take bumps in that. And I'm like, well, he's not going to just not have a moment. Like, look, first of all, he looks very younger. He looks way younger now, but nobody just loses 100 pounds for no reason. Be like, I can't do a Rumble. He did a Rumble with Santino a couple years ago. Remember, he had the Socko versus the Snake face off. So the Rumble ain't nothing. So if he can't have one last match, I mean, you in Indianapolis and you hear that car crash, and you see Mick Foley looks 30 years younger. I'm expecting to see him. So that's one of the surprises I'm looking forward to. But yeah, this is going to be a very, 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 very fun. Brian, are you going to be in the building?
No, not this year.
Okay, so Brian is not going to be there this year. I thought you might have been there, but since you're not going to be there, I'm like, okay, all right. I think this year is going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be all eyes on the product because I think we have officially been reconditioned as far as the product is concerned. And I think the fact that we can't really pinpoint what direction things are going in, to me, is probably what's going to make it that much more exciting, fun, and engaging overall, as far as the women's Rumble, the men's Rumble, in the matches, even though Brian H. and Brother Hugh don't like tag team wrestling or the four guys that are involved in it. So I'm looking forward to it. I think we're going to have a lot of fun. I think the show after the Rumble is probably going to be insane because that's when stuff is really going to unfold. We're going to see all these stories being told, and then that's when we can start to really dissect where we're going as we prepare for Elimination Chamber. And like I said, the next step, obviously, the grandest show of them all, WrestleMania. But until that time, I need you to all do me a favor, do me a quick solid, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Wrestling Realm. Subscribe to our Patreon, Twitch, and YouTube channel at the Wrestling Realm. Also, pay close attention to the screens. Follow each of the hosts at their own personal social media accounts. They engage, they have fun, they have a lot of tidbits. These brothers are really, really great at what they do. Trust me, you don't admit. So follow them on their personal social media platforms, as well as follow Championship Culture on Instagram at championshipculture_. Remember, every Tuesday, 8 p.m. on youtube.com/the Wrestling Room and live on X. So if you can't get to the YouTube channel, just go to the X social media page. It's always live. It goes live at 8 p.m. on Tuesday, just like it does on the YouTube channel. So you can catch up with Championship Culture and enjoy that too. But until then, we have to get out of here. The next stop is Royal Rumble. When we come back, our faces will probably look way different than they look right now, and there'll be plenty of new conversations for us to talk about. But until then, thank you all for joining us for this episode. It was very fun. Thank you for all the fans that definitely posted their Wrestling Room facts, answers, their wrestling t-shirts that represent them as wrestling fans on X. That was amazing. Brian H. did an excellent job of just mapping it out and then tagging everybody. That was very, very fun. These are the type of conversations that we'll continue to have next week. Oh boy, it'll be unpopular opinion. So guess what? Join us again and bring your unpopular opinion. Who knows what the heck it's going to be about? But like I said, until then, have some fun, stay bright, stay a proud wrestling fan, and until then, stay safe. We will see you back here next week on the Wrestling Realm Now podcast. We out of here. Peace.
Mr. Man, Ryan Waters.
Houston, we have a problem.
For all exclusive shows and bonus material, subscribe to our Patreon channel at patreon.com/thewrestling_realm. You can watch all of our Wrestling Realm content anytime on youtube.com/thewrestling realm.